the sun go down on me. You're the king of health and scars alike. You're the fighting peace and the roaring quiet. Earthly tensions are known by you. So you've brought me comfort before truth, yeah. How you've brought me comfort before truth. So come and hold my heart again, give a reply. Don't let the light go out on me. Come and hold my heart again, give a reply. Don't let the sun go down on me. Don't let the sun go down on me. Oh, don't let the sun go down. Redemption singing over me, over me. Redemption singing over me, over me. Redemption singing over me, over me. Oh, redemption singing over me, over me, yeah. Redemption singing over me, over me. 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 Crashing on the moon, calling mission control. Thought I'm getting higher, but I'm flying too low. I see the earth is spinning and I can't let go. Crashing on the moon, calling mission control. Is there anybody out there, or I'm left here all alone? I see the earth is spinning, but I still stand tall, tall. Now the time I can see the goal. I know what you're thinking, but I never fall. Don't wake me, 'cause I'm dreaming. Million stars surround me and I'm feeling so strong. From 200,000 miles it won't just seem so small. Million stars surround me and I want to have it all. From 200,000 miles I'm coming back home. Got that chord again. Walking on thin ice, I have no one I can call. Thought I know the path, but it seems that I got lost. I wanna fight this feeling, sometimes you have to crawl, crawl. Walking on thin ice, I have no one but my voice. Forget about the path, I go and make my own. I'm gonna break this ceiling, gonna break this wall, wall. Now the time I can see the goal. I know what you're thinking, but I never fall. Don't wake me, 'cause I'm dreaming. Million stars surround me and I'm feeling so strong. From 200,000 miles it won't just seem so small. Million stars surround me and I want to have it all. From 200,000 miles I'm coming back home. Got that chord again. Now the time I can see the goal. I know what you're thinking, but I never fall. Don't wake me, 'cause I'm dreaming. Million stars surround me and I'm feeling so strong. From 200,000 miles it won't just seem so small. Million stars surround me and I want to have it all. From 200,000 miles I'm coming back home. Got that chord again. Do not push too much, 'cause it takes time. Do not talk too much, because it's mine. And I do it with small steps, and I have no regrets. No mistakes. Shine my black shoes, 'cause I wanna move. What do you choose? There are too many options. Do not take me down with the fears you've raised, because they are not mine.
Seen it all, you can't all benefit too. Femme fatale, I can't fall in love with you. Seen it all, you can't all benefit too. Femme fatale. tall. I can't fall in love with you. Yeah, whiskey in my hand, Henny in a cupboard. If you want it, I'm just saying. You can have whatever, just don't ask me about a plan. Let's avoid the topic, benefit from being friends. We can be together, but that body like a Benz. That black on the rims. They know that you're poison, baby. Let's not play pretend. This ain't gotta end, yeah. You so dangerous, hella sus, I can tell, yeah. You a bad, real bad broad, but
We could be heroes, or we could be blind. We could be strangers left behind. We could be lovers if we play the game. We could be angels. Now do you feel the same? Do you feel the same? Twice, no more. You got me banging my head against the wall. With every word you speak, you're suffocating me. Don't act like I don't say. I'm not alone for words. I wasn't of this alive on a tightrope. I haven't slept in 3 or 4 days. Now everybody swears that I've lost my mind, but I promise I'm doing okay. You got a tighter grip to the noose that's wrapped around my neck. I wanna hate you, I wanna love you. Why do you do these things?
This is my world.
Let's make it count.
I must practice stories. Next, GSL Season 2 Renaissance.
늦었어요. 왼쪽. 왼쪽 정글이 늦어요. 오른쪽 쏘면 인코수 자체가 50 가까이 차이 날 수 있어요. 제재.
들어싸우나요?
째는 게 너무 완벽했기 때문에
생애 최초로 16강에 올라갑니다. 와, 진짜 신입어.
제재.
2019 Mountain Dew GSL Season 2. Code S, Renaissance.
What's up, everybody? We are finally back after actually not finally, it was a short break here from StarCraft 2.
That was the longest break ever.
It felt like forever. It's good to be back. We had a little bit of KSL in between the round of 32 and the round of 16, and now we're back to get things moving.
So 10 days isn't a very long break for you from StarCraft 2. That's good to know, Tasos.
dare
Good
I?
to see where your priorities lie. Oh, God. Thank God finally the round of 16 is here.
Yes.
I wish we could just do all of it in the next 4 days, but we got StarCraft 1 in there, too. So
That's right.
I guess we just got to put up with what we got.
So, look, we have some very interesting groups here. The racial distribution, despite this being half the players in the round of 16 are Protoss, we have them slotted evenly in each of the groups.
Yeah, it gives us the ultimate potential for either no Protosses to get through or only Protosses.
The tournament's ruined.
I was talking to the
have to-
producer about possibly canceling the season if it's 8 Protoss in the round of 8.
You know, we've had situations where it looks like it could have gotten like this, or, you know, it could have gotten to that point. And usually we manage to get a pretty even distribution anyways in the Final Four, but let's watch for that. The Protoss is dominated in the round of in the round of 32, and we may have that situation here in the round of 16.
It's possible. We'll have to see how these guys all play. I mean, the meta is continuing to evolve. I think a lot of players were caught off guard by the strength of those Protoss players before, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean it'll happen still. An exciting season, though. Very fun and funny group selection occurred. And we, by the way, are adding 2 of the new ladder maps to our pool. This is exciting because, what is it? I think tomorrow, actually, the patch comes out that gives us the new season. Anyways, Thunderbird. This map features reduced mineral fields, allowing workers to clear them with 1 trip, and reduced minerals fields can be mined to unlock additional expansions or attack paths. Also, the central area of Thunderbird has a rich Vespene geyser that allows gas extraction twice as fast, allowing you to use a variety of strategies with the use of reduced mineral fields.
So there's a lot of ideas that are going to make this map a lot more complex, and some strategies and techniques that can be used here that I think we will have never seen before. Again, it's a very new map, so we're going to still be unpacking it, whether you're playing on the ladder or you're watching here at GSL. This is going to be fun to learn. We'll have more to say about this as we go into the game. For some reason, thematically, our new maps also have the names of, I don't know, like a motorcycle from the 80s or something, or...
Well, the first thing I think of with this one, which, by the way, I do want to just mention that with these minerals and everything, it's really cool. Both of the maps that we're adding remind me of, like, StarCraft 1 maps in a way where they're getting... What about Destination?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I'm like, well, no, they don't remind me of Destination, but, like, they remind me of StarCraft 1 maps, you know? It's like we got mineral fields to go through and open up locations on the map, and it's something that has been not really used in StarCraft 2 very much.
This was a mechanic as a new way to open and close routes. I think StarCraft 2, especially when it first came out, really emphasized the idea of destructible rocks. I mean, granted, we have that on all the maps now, but really this was kind of revolutionary at the time as a feature of the map where you could destroy a location, either closing it off or opening it up.
Sure.
Excuse me, but now with the mineral patches, you have to use a worker. A lot of times early on, it's a big deal to send out an additional worker. So to try to open up a path, maybe get a different rush distance, all this stuff is going to be really fun to unpack here. Our next map is Turbo Cruise 84.
Yes, Turbo Cruise 84 features inhibitor zone generators that slow all units in its area of effect in this small map. Rows of these inhibitor zone generators make the initial rush distance longer. The terrain on which the inhibitor zone generators is located can also be used to better defend. For this reason, a player who chooses an attack must carefully select the attack route.
So I think these changes on these maps is exactly what StarCraft 2 needs. The way that you keep an RTS alive and healthy and constantly changing is to make major adjustments on the map, to make new features on the map, which most certainly will offer new play styles here. So this is going to be very fun to cast. And it's exciting to be right here at the start of this so we can see the players maybe make some strategies that really either blow our minds or maybe don't work at all. That's kind of the fun part about when we introduce something very new as a mechanic in an RTS, is to watch and get learned by the best in the world.
We don't know. This map might turn out to be just hot trash, but I'm excited about it because this is like, it's such an interesting way. I think Cash Explain said it as, this is a way to make the middle of the map longer, you know?
Sure.
It's a really cool idea. Those slowing green orb thingies, will we see many people going through there? It obviously makes ranged units much more powerful and melee units much weaker. Right. It doesn't affect the firing rate, right? Just movement rate. So, yeah, I think that this is super interesting. What a great couple maps for us to try out. Now, I just hope they don't get vetoed all the time. I have a sneaking suspicion.
I think there's a very high chance that a lot of them are vetoed. We'll see, though. But in this phase of the tournament, yeah, I would. It's kind of weird because we did intro them, but you're right. There's a high chance that with rounds this limited, we might not see it until more of the round of 8.
Well, regardless of that, here are our groups. As you see, 8 Protoss spread out, 4 Terrans spread out, 4 Zerg spread out. We'll just be doing it on Wednesday and Saturday these next 2 weeks and see who goes up. Some really awesome groups here.
Yeah, you can definitely see in both Group B and Group D, those are very tough groups to call. A lot of heavyweights in those.
Yeah, that Group D is just silly. That's so silly. We got like 3 round of 4 players in Innovation.
Yeah. A and C, obviously a lot of good players in there as well. Especially with how Special's been performing lately. It's very exciting to see him. Yeah. I'm curious to see how he's going to do as our non-Korean hope now.
Yeah, I'm excited about that as well. He played very well at WCS, obviously. Just lost to Cyril there at the end.
We're going to have a quick video, then we're going to start our matches.
이번에 명단을 보는데 정말 너무 먹음직스러운 홀들이 너무 많더라고요. 네, 그래서 지금 누굴 뽑아야 될지 너무 고민이에요. 3명 정도 생각하고 있는데.
네. 그 이름 공개해 주셔도 되잖아요. 누구 정도 데려가고 싶다.
저그의 신보 선수.
저거 누구?
저그는 뭐 처음 올라온.
신입범.
네. 테라는 또 4년 만에 올라온 명훈.
명훈?
토스는 제가 32강에서 이겼던 기웅이도 있기 때문에. 좀 선택지가 많은 것 같아요.
이 3종 세트가.
전 뽑으면 좋죠. 뭐 신맵도 새로 나오기도 하고 아직 뭐 전략도 계속 생각하면 나올 것 같기도 하고 그래서 저는 괜찮을 것 같아요.
너무 해맑아요. 너무 여유로워요. 신입범인가 남기웅인가요? 남기웅은
저런 패기로움을 보여.
신입범이야. 와 역시 패기의 성공.
너무 혼자 해맑아가지고 너무 자신 있어 하길래 그런 거 좀 보기 싫어가지고 뽑았어요.
근데 저는 뽑힐 줄 알았어요. 그래가지고
알았어요?
제가 무슨 말을 해도 어차피 계속 뽑힐 것 같아가지고 저는 뭐 제 생각대로 간 것 같아요.
다음 선수를 뭐 신우 선수 마음대로 뽑아도 어차피 그거는 김도우 선수 쓰게 만들어가지고 막 꼬이게 만들 수도 있잖아요.
그럴 수도 있겠죠. 근데 제가 계획을 들어봤는데 너무 완벽해요.
계획이 완벽해요?
네, 제가 오기 전에 그렸던 그림이에요. 그냥 서로 행복한 조가 될 수 있을 것 같아요.
이제 갈 때가 좀 된 것 같죠?
네.
뭐 이렇게 하면 나쁘지 않잖아요.
근데 뭐 처음부터 예상을 좀 하고 있었어가지고 뭐 괜찮을 것 같고 조의 투토스라는 게 좀 마음에 안 들긴 하지만 그래도 뭐 열심히 하면
이게 한 토스가
이미 가면 남기웅은
우리 세트예요?
있네요.
네, 저희는 세트예요.
그래요.
저는 솔직히 이렇게 될 줄 몰랐어요. 좀 되게 제 생각대로 안 될 줄 알았는데 그냥 뭐 가만히 있다 보니까 또 알아서 이렇게 돼가지고 저도 명훈이 형이랑 생각이 비슷해요.
셋이 손잡고 와도 되겠는데. 만약 그런 마음이라면 남기웅 선수 손 잡고 그대로 와도 문제가 없을 정도로.
저도 뭔가 어쨌든 투토스잖아요 지금. 기용이 걸면은 그래서 100%는 마음에 들진 않거든요. 그래가지고
뭐 어윤수 선수를 데려와도.
어윤수
방금 손 들었거든요.
사실 명훈이 형이 말로는 뭐 저를 힘들어 한다고 하지만 토스만큼은 아닐 거라고 생각하거든요. 뭐 그런 거 생각하면은 저도 나쁘지 않을 것 같아요.
그 정면 선수 안 들어요. 이야기 아예 안 들었어요. 정명훈 선수, 저 어윤 선수가 자기를 뽑으면 나쁘지 않을 것 같아요.
별로 하고 싶지 않아요, 제가.
하고 싶지 않아요.
그럼 어윤수는 뭐가 되나요?
어윤수는 비주가 되나요?
왜 물어봤어요?
누구 데려가나요? 김대엽이요? 진짜?
그냥 예상대로.
와, 그냥 남경 선수를 그냥 데려가네요. 아니 김도우 선수 총 만족스러워서 뭐 지명권 뭐 안 써도 되는 거 아닙니까?
예, 제가 처음에 생각했던 조가 딱 이건데 너무 완벽하게 돼가지고
너무 완벽해요?
예, 너무 행복하네요 지금.
최종 선택이 마무리가 됐습니다. 오늘 최고의 조지명식으로 지금 마무리 짓게 된 김도우 선수가 지금 원하는 대로 지금 마무리가 됐습니다.
Round of 16.
It's my turn now.
All right, we're ready to start our best of threes. Let's get into this.
It's pretty funny that Classic says what the 3 weakest players are and then just gets them in his group.
I know.
He's a monster, man.
I'll tell you what, man, Classic has been killing it this year. And he had a pretty strong showing last year as well. He's had some ups and downs for sure. He's really been going at it since about 2016 here. But, you know, the way he's been able to just bring it this year specifically is really exciting.
He is.
He's gone full hungry hippos with those WCS points, Artosis.
Yeah. He's leading Korea 3 GSL tournaments in a row.
Yeah.
Counting 2 super tournaments, one of which was last year, where he was in the finals. He's looking ridiculous. He looks like the best Protoss in the world for sure. Now, does he get out of this group? I think so. I think that this is going to be a deep season for Classic. Around a finals.
Yeah, almost certain he will advance here. Granted, we've had plenty of upsets before with great players, but no, I mean, come on, he's supposed to get out, right?
Yeah, he should, but I think there is upset potential, and I don't think it comes from fantasy. I think it comes from the other two.
I think you might be right about that as well, Artosis.
RagnaroK is in very good shape.
Yeah,
and he's playing better and better, just like Hurricane, who's in very good shape and is playing better and better. So
I also think we've seen a lot of new confidence here with RagnaroK that we didn't quite have before. His play is looking excellent. It's looking brilliant. There's nothing cheeky or sneaky about it. And, you know, for him to get to this phase of the tournament and the group phase, he looked like he was having a good time. He looked very okay in his own skin. I know a lot of pros have to sometimes get over that weird hurdle of, you know, discomfort with, like, group selections, you know, being interviewed, having to show your personality. And it takes some players longer than others just to get used to playing in front of big groups. But with time, that will fix all, including any of that discomfort you have trying to perform, you know, performance anxiety interfering with your play. So no new maps.
Oh, look at the vetoes now. We have Cobalt, Turbo Cruise, and Thunderbird all in there.
Okay.
It's like really going to be funny. There's like going to be one, quote, real veto each time. God, I hate pro gamers.
All right, back to the maps we were using all along. Let's go. Game 1's ready.
I got a lot to say, Tasteless. More to say than I could say before this voice intro.
Yeah.
Makers Classic.
Actually, no, that's all I had to say.
Storm Gaming, RagnaroK.
Okay, I want to throw this out there.
Yep.
We should start doing the map pools like ASL does, or like Reward tournaments do in general, where you just have 4 maps.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have one map randomly inserted at the start in some cases.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing, like, you know how in the old days, if you had a kid with asthma, you would like send him into the wilderness like his uncle who was a fur trapper or something. And it's like, well, either get better or die, right?
Yeah.
That's like an old thing. We need to do that to some of these map vetoing cowardly pro gamers in StarCraft 2. Okay?
You see back because we just put the maps in, and there's going to be a lot of people that would want to learn, but oh well.
I want to watch the new map so badly.
That's a sick RagnaroK drawing, by the way. That's really good.
You should bring that sign to KSL tomorrow. You'll win something.
Yeah,
for sure.
We give away prizes at KSL based off sign skill.
Yeah.
Here it's all about RNG. You just have to win the drawing at the end.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Here it's all about vetoing maps too.
Fans from around the world. Thank you for coming down.
My God, Jesus. But seriously, I'm so sad that we're going to see one map veto.
That was as close as it could ever possibly be for a probe to block a drone and then not get it.
Well, imagine if it was one of those, you know, sci-fi things where suddenly, like, you're teleported, but you're partially in a wall and you're just screaming until you die. You know,
or it's a game from 1998 where instead it just gets stuck there forever in the side of the hatchery.
Yeah. You're talking about StarCraft 1, I can tell.
Yeah.
Okay, so Robo coming up. That should not surprise anyone too much. Really, the Immortal Sentry play is all the rage. And I mean rage in every meaning of rage.
Like Zerg players experiencing emotional rage when they lose to it. Rage is a trend.
Okay, so Sentry's on the way. You know, No Regret and I did a gigantic episode of In-Depth on Immortal Sentry pushes.
Yeah.
And we went over all the GSL Season 1 replays containing them and found all sorts of cool and neat and interesting things about it. And the thing that's really hard about these pushes is you just don't know when they're going to move out. They move out at 0 mortals to 5 immortals. That's your range.
And yeah, there's so many different iterations of this build and ways to make it kind of top-heavy in certain aspects during the push, putting overemphasis on certain units or a certain type of upgrade and utilizing that. And, you know, the burden really is on the Zerg to be absolutely, completely, and totally prepared, or you're just out.
Yeah, it can be very tough. Now, seeing these sentries in the Prism, RagnaroK knows completely what's occurring. So let's take a look at what he thinks is the right thing to do. He throws down a Rotorn very quickly. Obviously, you need a Rotorn.
That was sick. You see that cancel?
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was cool.
So he cancels the gas there to make it a little bit more misleading what type of timing attack this is going to be. And he's going to be doing it off of just 2 gases. A lot of times the Zergs will be checking. You can see the Ling has not been able to get close enough to see that there's no assimilator there. So this may throw RagnaroK off a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely could. He does not know for certain where this is at right now. Excuse me. Now, this should be a couple of depths in here.
Do you have the hiccups?
That was like a single hiccup.
Okay.
I don't have the hiccups, but that was a hiccup.
I thought we've casted for a long time. I figure eventually one of us would have the hiccups in a cast, but I thought I could get really excited and you could sound like an old school town drunk.
I once did a cast with Kaldor where I couldn't stop coughing.
Oh, really?
I couldn't stop. And on the commercial, he's like, you need to drink water or something. So I started drinking water, and it actually helped quite a bit. But it was like just constant coughs. I was like, no help. I made the cast so much worse. Anyways, the push is coming. It's a 2 immortal push. Very, very strong. Right now, RagnaroK's sitting on 47 workers. He's going into Lings. Plenty of Ravagers being made. Definitely the right type of way to go about this. His creep spread looking pretty decent. Got to be careful, though, when he gets up to a choke. This is where it's going to be a little bit harder to engage. Okay, we have a split on the Queens. Oh, God.
Okay, one Queen isolated over there at the top. The Lings come in. Some force fields do go down. Missing the Biles over there on that Immortal.
Really beautiful Link surround. And his Prism is so far away that he's already lost an Immortal here.
Yeah.
This push doesn't look like it's going to work.
You don't think so? I think he might be able to get in here. I mean, the thing is, a lot of these guys were losing their Warp Prism due to the Corrosive Biles.
I think RagnaroK's already held, to be honest. Like, he just engaged that really perfectly. He had a nice split. When the Queens were on the side, I was nervous for a moment, but this was a beautiful hold from RagnaroK.
Yeah, you know what? I'm so used to seeing when Deer did this, he would have it far away enough that he get the warp ins there and not lose it, because especially early on this year, we saw a lot of timing attacks just stopped because the Warp Prism was shot down. But that rush was completely shut down, and I don't see any real opportunity for Classic to try to tech out of this. He is going to get his 2 other gases, but A third base is going to be very tough with the amount of Zerg on the map right now.
Yeah, this is, man, that was just such a beautiful hold. You know, RagnaroK, I tip my hat to him. You see the Zergs are definitely already getting much better against these Immortal pushes, but his creep spreaders out, these are like all the things that Norgrad and I have been talking about that you need to do, right? Creep spread out, don't drone too high. We saw a lot of Lings. That flank was beautiful, the Queens being on the other side, you know. Classic just getting mowed down there. Now, how do you come back in this situation?
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
We see a little unload over here. He's just trying to fight these roaches. This is not going to be enough.
No, it's not.
I feel like this should be an easy deflection here from RagnaroK, and then you just run him over, right? I mean, there's not much more, I think, to this game. Let's see what Classic can do, but, I mean, you have limited options with one War Prism.
It's over 3 times the army supply right now.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got a lot of stuff, man. The Prism is like a good idea, but is it going to hold enough units back? There's no way you can hold on to this third.
No.
There's not a way.
The Zerg can defend everything the Classic has and basically kill this base off. And even though, you know, with roaches alone and no queens helping out, you can, you know, eventually kill everything that's over there. This is going to run this. Yeah, that's it. GG.
Yeah.
So Classic loses game 1. RagnaroK playing brilliantly. And let me tell you something. If RagnaroK wins this match, I think he's going to get out of this group.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the hardest player in the group. Is Classic.
He's supposed to be the hardest player in the tournament.
Yeah.
Because Maru's out, right? So RagnaroK looking very happy right now. Don't forget, he did win that group with TY and Special in it. Special is absolutely a top-level Terran right now as well. So yeah, that's like RagnaroK is on fire right now. He's playing very, very well. This is, you know, he's been really high on the ladder for quite some time. And I think he's starting to really show that. Like last season, he had games where it looked like he stepped on rakes and, you know, slid down an icy hill on his butt into traffic where he got hit by 2 cars that were going to hit each other anyways, and he was in the middle of them. But here, this season...
Oh, that's good. I like how that starts out as some kind of Looney Tunes thing and then turns into just the absolute total carnage. Something like that. My God. He did too, man. He definitely had some games where he just got completely owned.
But he's playing so well.
Yeah. You know, people can improve. Really.
Makers Classic.
We have to, you know, accept that the old version of that player is no more. It looks like we're having that now with RagnaroK.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, if he proxies a hatch and dies a 2 hatchling with 3 hatchling, then the old RagnaroK's still there too.
Psystorm Gaming, RagnaroK.
Call that multiple player disorder. When your old terrible player self is in there with the new you. I have that in spades, Tasteless.
Oh my God. You're losing a set that you figured out how to stop 6 years ago. You're like, what is this?
Yep. I feel like I learn the same things every week, Tasteless.
From Vancouver.
My silver low GM, I love it. My balance opinion is totally valid. That's a good sign right there.
Yeah.
Whew. This is already a great day at GSL.
Yeah, it's going to be back.
I'm just like so excited that he stomped that so hard that I think that Classic should be careful about Immortal pushes.
Right, from Israel. RagnaroK support here too. I think a lot of people are excited to see RagnaroK do well. You know, I do occasionally get afraid that we're going to have exactly the same guys over and over without much of a change. You know, so seeing some players really rise to the top and other players fall out is exactly, frankly, it's what you need to have kind of a healthy scene, right?
Yeah, well, what we don't want, it's like
Warcraft
cool to see
3 from a long time ago.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Was it really what?
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, so we don't want Warcraft 3.
Warcraft 3 pre-StarCraft 2 had the same like 12 guys at every tournament ever.
Yeah, I don't know that it's still like that. I haven't been following the scene too carefully, but I think there's more turnover now. But yeah, there was like way back. It was hilarious. It was like all the same players all the time. You know what was even worse than that? It was Quake 3.
Oh, yeah.
You had 4 players that were always top 4, Then you had 4 players that were always top 8, and then you had 8 players that were at all the other tournaments too. It was just so. Oh, I loved it.
The tournaments just rehash themselves with the same results over and over.
Like, yeah, look at that. Even
after a while,
that's super sick.
Everybody's looking at each other saying, "We should probably just end this, guys. We kind of know who's who's going to be where."
Oh man. Okay, so a Stargate opener this time. Stargate again. This went out of style somewhat recently, but I think that first off, it's a very decent map for it. Second off, with how clinically RagnaroK destroyed that Immortal Sentry push, Classic should be very careful. Because the thing is, that build has been so rampant for the past, like, month-ish that it's like what all the Zergs are practicing against. So eventually they're going to figure it out. Eventually they're going to get good against it. So you can tell that RagnaroK is.
Now, having periods in a meta where there's pushes that come out and tend to dominate one race specifically. Usually it's Zerg. I think throughout most of StarCraft, just coming out and crushing. Because Zerg is kind of in this position where they have the burden of having to grow and kind of react and swat away the other race. And then eventually, they can assert themselves. Usually we'll see that work for a while and then get shut down kind of all at once, sometimes in the course of a week or two, as these timing attacks basically get collectively solved.
Yeah,
like in the meta, and we might be having some of that in this week of GSL.
Remember the 2-base charge all in?
Oh yeah,
it won like 10 games in a row in GSL and then never won again.
Yeah.
Okay, so Robo coming up. It looks like Oracle Phoenix Oracle, but obviously this is not any sort of immortal push. We'll see if a Twilight comes down next. Possibly an Archon drop coming up.
Classic definitely adjusting playstyle here with a completely different approach. I think it's smart too, even though, as Artosis was saying, this isn't exactly like the build to do right now. It was a while back. I think Classic going to go back to something that worked before, because I do think despite the way that game went, Classic is probably still confident that if this game went, if you put these two players, their stats against each other, like their RPG characters or RPG armor, weapons, or whatever. Classic is supposed to be ahead, so he probably just wants to get to a place where he's got all the tech he needs, and then he can try to play a normal game.
Yeah, I think that it's a reasonable idea, but RagnaroK's macro has been really, really good. He was known as a cheesy player since like 2015, and I mean, he still definitely has that within him. But yeah, if he like the macro that he's shown us lately is enough, I think, to fight well as well. Oh wow, that's a lot of drone kills. My God.
Yeah, those oracles moving around that actually like synchronized swimming there. 11 drone kills. Now
it's a very bloody pool at the end of that, though, with 2 of them dying, huh?
Now he did lose 2 of those oracles, but he did while still keeping one. He could try to tag the army there. I'm sorry, what are Tosis?
Aspire.
Oh yeah, look at that.
That's exciting.
I was looking at the Protoss tech. They're going, what?
Yeah, that's a really great place to hide it, too.
Now we got the 2 Adepts that are going to come in here. Now keep in mind, if the Protoss is not ready for that Spire tech, you could be completely thrown off here. But so far, Classic is just great.
Wow.
Good handling, though, by RagnaroK.
Yeah, seriously, because this was beautifully done, right? The second that you start the Adept harassment, you bring in the Stasis Ward. Like, really well done. Beautiful shade. Wow.
Okay, we've got a lot of Lings out. The 3rd base is done, and I don't think these Lings are going to be enough to do anything to that 3rd base. You know, when you have the units wedged in, the Adepts wedged in the pylons there, they can't do much. But we really want to wait and see, how much is going to come out of this Spire tech, and is Classic going to be caught off guard with it? Did that okay, the Phoenix just says not. That is hidden in such a way that unless you really...
It's a great place.
It's funny because it's in the middle, right? It's actually an easy spot to scout, but because players on this map will rely so much on the edges, the very corners of the map, it just hasn't been spotted. So Classic could absolutely be completely and totally caught off guard by this. There's 8 mutas on the way. A lot of gateways coming down here. I don't believe there's actually cannons to defend against air anywhere there.
No, he's going to take some damage from this. There's no doubt.
Okay,
this is what a great move here from RagnaroK. I'm really excited about
a very well hidden tech.
Yeah, and I kind of like the composition he's falling back on after this,
which
is
the
Roche
Phoenix
Bane.
sees this, sees the Spire.
He sees it now.
But the mutas are already about halfway across the map. Now, there was one cannon making it the natural.
Don't worry, the Immortal's going to defend.
I know, I was looking at that saying, And so this is going to be a lot of worker kills here.
Yeah, it really looks like it. Of course, the Archon can't get through that wall.
Right. So some
Nice,
Stalkers
6
get
kills.
warped in here. None of the mutas have actually been picked off yet. So this is a lot of worker kills. Now, there was already a Stargate, and there was already one Phoenix out. We saw the second one was just released there.
Yeah.
And so this is eventually going to be taken care of. But I got to say, this was a great way to trip up Classic.
Yeah, that was very well done there by RagnaroK. 13 probes going down. Obviously, it's some lost mining time mixed in there. You have to make some defense. You're forced into a few Phoenixes that aren't going to really be all that useful. Oh, he's actually making some more mutas. I find that actually a little bit surprising.
Yeah, 4 more as well.
I wonder what the idea is behind that.
I'm not sure, actually.
Well, I mean, it's not that they're not useful. You can dive on a prism. You can set off immortal shields. Maybe you pick off a sentry or something like that. Well, let's see. This push is coming up. It does look like a very scary push. RagnaroK does not have that much. Yeah, it does have some Hydras on the way. This base is gone. Yeah, see the Queen leave, but she leaves her baby drones there?
Yeah.
My God.
Just like, peace out, man.
Yeah. No, you guys keep mine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
So, yeah, I mean, how exactly are you going to stop this attack? I think that there wasn't a real follow-up plan here for RagnaroK.
The attack is really scary. Maybe at the top of ramps you'll be fine, though. Because it's hard for the Zealots to actually get up there and do their damage.
3 base versus 3 base now. Now, where are the Phoenixes? Are they with that main army?
I saw one at the 3rd base, but there's only 2 Phoenixes, I believe. So.
Now, if you could get in there.
Oh, here they are. They're right here.
Oh, no, those are hallucinations. So.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't have a detector, so I'm not sure.
Oh, so force field's coming down now. Now, again, if Protoss loses all that army, and the mutas can actually do enough damage to the workers, maybe there's a shot. But right now, I think Protoss has the Zerg where he wants him.
Well, there's no Psystorm yet, so there is the possibility of RagnaroK winning a fight here if the Banelings actually connect on those Zealots. But Classic too smart. He's going to back up for now, which is just the perfect play.
Now, here's the 4th base being taken. RagnaroK is going to move out. We really do need to watch for exactly where the Banelings connect, because that's where it's the most easy way to decide who actually won the fight. Because if you don't connect anywhere the Banelings are all killed off, then the Protoss' army is going to be better than the Zerg's army, and then the Protoss' army will win the game.
The Protoss' army is getting better and better with Psystorm on the way, +2 and more Immortals. Like RagnaroK, I like that he's really relying on Banelings here, though. You know, that's kind of a... Obviously, it's a little bit of a risk if they force field it off or hit some good Psystorms on it, but it gives you potential to roll through the army.
Easily cleaned up the majority of those mutas. There's not enough anymore that he can one-shot probes. We did see that happen earlier on. RagnaroK definitely in a position where he's actually fighting uphill.
And once again, Classic moving out.
Yeah, and I think Classic just wants to try to edge in here and pick a fight. If he can draw in some of the Banelings and shoot him down and force field him out, I think he's done his job. He doesn't even have to try to kill this expansion. He just needs to get in some fights that are definitely in his favor. But, you know, the number of Banelings that's out here is alarming for the Protoss.
Yeah, yeah. You almost got some good
If you have your screen in the wrong spot for a second, you can absolutely lose this fight as Protoss.
Psystorms are so scary, but it's a wide open area. The Banelings trying to roll through right now, but I mean, they're rolling into Archons and Immortals, which makes it a bit harder, but the macro looking very strong here for RagnaroK, continuing to push forward. Some more Zealots come down from the north.
Oh, so sick. This is enough Hydras. He can actually drive the rest of this away. Seems like Classic's going to try to hold his ground here. We have a lot more Zealots warping in. Is this enough, though? Lings and Roaches are coming in.
Yeah.
And he takes the warp prism out. A recall is happening, but I don't know how much he's actually going to get back home. The 4th base, I think, can be toppled now.
This is just amazing play from RagnaroK, but I got to say, Classic chose the wrong place for an engagement. That was wide open ground. That's exactly where RagnaroK wants to fight.
That is, I think, the most open area he could have fought him in.
Yeah, we would have to go into the map editor to make a new map that's only no terrain to have a more open area for that army to fight against Classic.
Like those perfect Hunters maps in StarCraft 1, where someone's like, I fixed it, guys. The map is a piece of green paper.
Yeah, exactly. We make it any color you want, though. You don't like green? No problem. Make it space style and call it Final Destination StarCraft version.
Dude,
God.
some of those old maps where it's like, all right, I just got it. Let me just flatten it.
Now, the game is not over yet. This is still a very scary composition. But he's coming in here and he's trying to reduce this unit set a little bit more. Like, he eliminated a lot of the very strong units already, which is good. Look at that.
Well,
he's doing a great job targeting here with these Hydras.
Let's see. Now, the Hydras are going to be driven away. The Banelings have been stunned here. But, you know, this angle, hold on. These Banelings are going to have just run in here from behind. This is kind of a, we're going to have to stay in a wide shot to see where this goes.
Oh, he's going after the High Templars there. Doesn't quite get him. Might not end up working out.
I think he actually fished him out far enough. Hold on.
Maybe. Does force those High Templars to become an Archon.
Yeah, that's where the math gets a little bit fuzzy. You know, as much as Zerg dominated, you got to remember that the majority of that damage was in Banelings. So even though you see the Protoss army completely decimated, you know, after that, the Zerg doesn't actually have that much.
Yeah, well, this is like a tricky situation because he's came from behind to win that last battle, and then he took this battle, which I think was the right call. Because
you think it was the right call for RagnaroK to attack that fort?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, when you're playing Lingbane Hydra, you need to consistently trade it out for their tech units because Lingbane Hydra instantly is remade. There's like, you know, it's not like you have a special Zerg robotics bay that needs to make 4 Immortals for the next battle, right? You make it out of your larva. Whereas for the Protoss, it's like, okay, well, the High Templars are super heavy in gas, and then you have 1 or 2 Robos. So anytime that you can trade out Lingbane Hydra for Immortals, for Archons, for High Templar, if you can reduce the complexity of the Protoss army, you're going to end up winning that game. But Classic with 4 bases, still looking pretty strong. Look at that army. That's a scary army right there.
Yeah, he's got that Immortal count high enough. You know, thank God for Classic, he actually was able to recall 2 of those Immortals back home. Because this is the key unit set that's actually really giving him more muscle. I mean, the Archons as well, but really just having that ability to sustain that is good. And I think taking this 5th base, notice how he's actually expanding in a funny way. He's taking that base instead of the other 2 possible locations you could expand to, specifically because he can defend both his 4th base and try to take that 5th base, and he kind of covers everything. And that may be why we're seeing RagnaroK experiment with these little Ling Run buys, is if he can fish the army away far enough, maybe he can try to take that 5th base out.
Well, any time that he buys right now is really good for him because he's the one that's teching up, right? He's getting a bunch of lurkers right now, which is kind of crazy and exciting. Huh.
We got lurkers coming, and he's going to go into Broodlords here.
Yeah.
This is a great idea to just try to push this because he's expanded in a very specific spot towards Zerg. I think RagnaroK is playing brilliantly.
No, he's playing a wonderful game, but it is a tough situation. Oh, the Observer's gone. Get out of here. All right, the Lurkers will hold that position, but this is obviously a very good warp-in.
Oh!
He gets a prism.
What?
Nice.
3 Hero Hydras. Took care of that,
Look
no
how
problem.
dumb those Zealots are. Oh, my God.
All right, there's still 1 Observer over here.
Okay, so he's going to clean this up, but, I mean, wait, is... Oh, I see where the Lurkers are bird. I got really confused there for a second. I'm like, are those bird his 3rd? Why doesn't he kill the other bases? No. They're being rotated back and forth. Adaptive Talons is about to finish. Wow, I'm getting chills, man. RagnaroK is playing just awesomely.
Okay, some storms coming down here. Good micro trying to shuffle these back.
Yeah.
But, you know, with this many Immortals, a lot of times you can pound your way through all this defense.
Most of his shields are gone, though. I think if you don't have your shields, you've got to pull back.
Uh-oh.
Look at this.
Is this him trying to make the square shape go through the circle hole?
He's trying to make the Immortal shape go through whatever the hell hole he wants.
Okay, well, now we got Lurkers coming in surrounding this. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Classic has, like, pushed himself into isolation on the far right. I guess he's going to get the hatch, though.
He's losing so many valuable units here. There is an Observer that's up there, so that's like really helping. It's too bad he couldn't somehow snipe that, but he backs up out of its range. Okay, it comes up now.
Good transfuses on those Lurkers, taking out the rest of the meat there, those Zealots.
The drones need to get up here and body block. I feel like he needs to keep those Lurkers alive, but this might just be too much. Look at that, he even picks off the Prism at this point. I tell you what, Classic wins this game.
GG.
But RagnaroK wins my heart. That was like, he got into a terrible spot and fought back really nicely.
Yeah, in a weird way, RagnaroK is seeming like the better player. Although I will say, I really like how Classic expanded and took that 5th. In a weird location, it looks wrong. In some ways, it is kind of wrong, but not in that specific game.
Oh, that was great.
He said, the only way that the Zerg can win is if they have everything in one spot, so I'm going to expand awkwardly out and towards the middle of the map, which Protosses tend to not do. You know, you're normally trying to hug those little nook expansions on the edge. But RagnaroK, he held off that attack. He almost toppled the fourth base in the counter. And I'll tell you what, that was not an easy push for Classic to close that game out at all.
No, it wasn't. The Lurkers did phenomenal work there. Really, really an exciting game, an exciting series. We're going to Kairos Junction for map number 3. And I tell you what, as of right now, I have no idea who's going to win this. RagnaroK absolutely looks like he's on Classic's level.
Okay, game 3 is now loading up. Classic versus RagnaroK. As we start things off here in Group A in the round of 16, the winner will go to the winner's match. The loser will have a chance to redeem themselves. And our game is now loading up. Let's do this. Classic versus RagnaroK.
게임이 시작됩니다.
Makers Classic.
Yeah, he definitely played very solidly that game, the exception of one attack.
Storm Gaming, RagnaroK.
RagnaroK, you know, he's using some new tech moves. He's making some great plays. Didn't work out that game, but right now, for me, I think he's getting out of this group.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's looking really impressive.
Yeah.
He seems like he's finally caught his stride.
Really?
He's, you know, against basically the strongest player that's in the GSL. RagnaroK is absolutely holding his own. Taking a lead and then keeping it, and when he's behind, really fighting an uphill match and making it tough.
So true. Welcome, guys. You know, he had a nice IM Katowice. Season 1 of GSL was not so nice, but obviously round 1 he did well in. Now he's showing his ZVP is very up to date. He's got his own little flair to it. I love it. I'm excited to see what he goes for here, but you know, more so it's like, what is Classic going to do and how does RagnaroK deal with that?
Right. Yeah, we got to see, is it going to be the Robo Tech, the Stargate Tech? There's so many different iterations of those two techs as well. Or we might see something, you know, a third alternative tech here too. But it's interesting to see that Classic went back for the Stargate play, getting a handful of Oracles, as well as the one Phoenix, and then basically playing a pretty standard game. You're not really trying to do anything crazy. And then eventually pushed out and you know, did a pretty decent job. Whereas in game 2, he tried to play the hyper modern push style, and that was totally shut down by RagnaroK. RagnaroK definitely seeming to be prepared against the way Protosses are playing currently.
Yeah,
but it's smart. You know, a lot of times if you're playing against somebody who seems to be really solid in the current meta, you can bring out something old.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not that Stargate's bad. It's just that we now have this aggressive option in the Immortal Century play, but. Maybe the time on that strategy is beginning to run out. We're going to have to see.
And we've seen this in much more dramatic forms where we'll have players who've come back from a long time ago, a long time of retirement, whether it's StarCraft 2 or StarCraft 1, and then use their older play style against a very top-tier modern player. And the modern player, he doesn't even play against this, really.
Yeah.
And it works. It's a kind of a funny situation. So we have the Twilight Council coming here now. There's one Phoenix as well.
It feels like it might be a Glaives build, but it doesn't have to be. Let's see what else he puts down here.
Yeah, is he going to get a ton of gateways?
Yeah, it could be Charge, it could be Glaives.
Yeah, it seems like it's going towards one of those two.
Yeah. Glaives, yeah. Okay, I mean, not a bad build to bust out. Definitely you have potential for lots of damage. There's no way that this Overlord will end up scouting it.
I wonder if this is, in a weird way, the obvious thing to do if you're a top-tier Protoss. Just stay with me on this, okay?
Okay.
You have your 3 different builds because you're a Protoss, you have to mix it up, right?
Okay.
a Robo build. There's a Stargate build, and then in Game 2 you do at least opening with a Stargate build, so it looks like it tracks on a Game 2 build, but actually it's going to be some kind of tempo build where you try to overwhelm them with adepts.
Yeah, well, he's making a Robo, and we haven't seen more gates, so I wonder if it's just going to be a 3-gate pressure into like Immortal and third base. Obviously, with the extra 2 gases, he can start stockpiling sentries and just do adept harassment into an adept
it's very
sentry
true, very true.
Immortal push. The thing is, he only bought the Phoenix, so already RagnaroK should know that something's up.
And for RagnaroK here, we have the Roach War and about halfway done, 20 more Lings coming out. And I think you might be right, Artosis. It seems like this is not going to be what I was looking at it as, is some kind of game where you try to smother them, you know, with adepts.
Well, that smothering will come later with the help of smothered units, I think. But this is it's a solid surround. Good unit splitting
no
here,
time
I would say,
to
overall.
really recall there. So the adepts have breached the main here because they're getting low in numbers, though. There's about to be only 2 remaining. This last shade here, I don't know if it's going to be able to finish for any of them, as the rest of these adepts are going to go down. Meanwhile, 2 up here.
There you go.
And this is where you just needed to work in one location. You needed to just get to a point where there's nothing depending on one spot, and suddenly 4 or 5 drones are killed, and then you can start to shade in and out in different spots.
So, I mean, he definitely did some damage with that. Roach is on the way. Okay, now RagnaroK knows exactly what's coming. Let's see if he can hold it. He's sitting here on 45 workers. He already lost 30 Lings to the initial adepts.
So
but only 5 drones so far. Now going to be a little bit more important.
The idea with this specific build is you come in with a certain number of adepts. It still masks how committed you're going to be in the future to doing an attack like this. But you try to kill some drones, and you're basically crippling the Zerg to a certain extent as they have to remake drones, debate whether or not it's safe to take a 4th. And from here, the real punch comes. And it's going to happen as this Warp Prism is going to come out here.
Yeah.
Now, couple things we want to watch for, and this has been a big theme here in especially these PvZ pushes. A, does the Protoss keep the Warp Prism alive? Now, it's not difficult to keep that alive, but in order to be warping in at the same time and juggling, that's another story. And so some players like Deer have actually stayed very far back and opted to not have anywhere near as much juggles, but have the right angle of attack and then bring the Warp Prism in later on.
Look at this. He actually gets on top of everything. He brings in the Ling Flank and then skips it. Oh, those were really good force fields right there.
Wow.
Really great force fields. My God.
Yeah.
That was a lot of units that died right there. RagnaroK started that engagement in a way that looked really good, and then it went south.
Note how he's keeping that back. He doesn't want the Ravagers to just shoot that out of the sky. He's going to come in now. Now we need to see where the the force fields come down here on. And he's given himself enough room. He can actually arc back out. So as the Roaches and Ravagers attack in, he can even pull away.
He's got a lot of units coming out right now, but I don't think that he's going to be able to quite hold this, right? That's a lot of adepts in there. He's continually warping in.
Well, the Immortals are also spaced really nicely. Yeah. You notice he pulled that lower Immortal over there to make sure it's hitting Roaches and Ravagers. And look at it. None of the biles are connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to win
very little extra damage out of these Ravagers, unfortunately. If he could hit some great biles, maybe, but the army is just getting a bit smaller here for RagnaroK, and it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better.
Classic once again reasserts why he is the most feared player in this GSL Code S. And the 2 Immortals specifically, he had to make sure they stayed alive with the Warp Prism, and no problemo. Even that last corrosive bile, I think after the game's already been won, he dodges that too.
Yeah, this was a good mix-up. The 1 Phoenix to stop scouting and check out what's going on into the 3-gate Glaive Adepts into the follow-up push. All that stuff really worked together because when RagnaroK wasn't harassed as heavily in another Immortal push game, he really stomped it. But here, taking a bit too much damage, losing a few too many units, and unable to hold on when the final push comes from Classic.
That was awesome. Okay, so Classic actually wins in Game 3, so he's going to be in the winner's match. We kind of expected, but not kind of, we really did expect him to have a result like that. But what's also exciting about this is that RagnaroK really held his own, especially Game 1 and 2. Those are great games.
Yeah.
And I think he's still got a shot to get out of this group. But for now, RagnaroK sinks into the loser's match, where it will be a battle of survival. Coming up next is Hurricane vs. Fantasy, and we'll be going to that after this short break.
Control.
lights out, I'm feeling shut down. And when I speak up, nothing wanna come out. I've been chained up to my mind. I'm trying to wake up and find a new love and tell the old me that I've had enough. Trying to leave it all behind. I've been looking for the nightlight switch. I've been feeling like I'm over it. When feelings control me, they ain't gonna hold me back. Love me and let me go. Love me and let me go. Love me and let me walk away. Finally let me breathe. Stop being so obsessed with me. Love me and let me go. Love me and let me Thank you for the bad times and the landmines and the feelings that came like landslides running down my mind each night. Thank you for the dark days and the tidal waves, making real life feel so sideways. Really been a wild ride. I've been looking for the nightlight switch. I've been feeling like I'm over it. When feelings control me, they ain't gonna hold me back. Love me and let me go. Love me and let me go. Love me and let me walk away. Finally let me breathe. Stop being so obsessed with me. Love me and let me go. Love me and let me
We can rise with the morning up against an ocean. Send out a warning that we are free. Cause we are the broken, never letting go. With our minds wide open, we can see. We can rise with the morning up against an ocean. Send out a warning that we are free. Cause we are the broken, never letting go. With our minds wide open, we can see. I called them out from underneath, all dressed in red and fives, all that they can breathe. And all I ask of you is your salvation. Won't you follow me to my imagination?
Round of 16.
It's my turn now.
GSL Season 2, Code S, Renaissance.
All right, welcome back. We just wrapped up Classic versus RagnaroK. Classic wins, no surprises there, but what is a pleasant surprise is that RagnaroK has continued to improve. He's looking good, and I think he still has a very realistic chance to get out of this group.
Absolutely. Even if Classic falls to the loser match at the end, I think that RagnaroK is almost a coin flip against him with those games we just saw. Anyways, let's get into this next match. It's going to be Hurricane, who is another player just like RagnaroK right now that has been good for quite some time, but is finally rising to that level on the GSL stage. And he's going up against a true legend.
Who could that be, Artosis?
Tasteless. It's going up against Tasteless, everybody. This is going to be the quickest 2-0 we've ever
I was going to say that would not be very exciting.
Tasteless just starts by floating his command center to the corner. That's how I live the longest.
So he's going up against Fantasy. This is a StarCraft 1 god. This was one of the best StarCraft 1 Terrans there ever was. He had incredible builds, incredible strategies that really innovated the way that we see and understand RTSs. Now, while the vast majority of the top-tier StarCraft 1 players have either stayed in StarCraft 1 or gone back to StarCraft 1, especially with the Remastered being out, and a lot of these players participating in sister tournaments like the ASL or the KSL. In this case, Fantasy stayed. He said, "This is the game for me." And with all that being said, he hasn't actually done that well in StarCraft 2, not as well as he's hoped. But we're going to see if he finally catches his stride, because if he can do what he did in StarCraft 1, it's going to be insane.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We're now ready to go into Game 1 on Kings Cove, Hurricane versus Fantasy.
게임이 시작됩니다.
Of course, they have vetoed all the fun maps.
Hurricane.
Yeah, I'm just going to see how angry I can make pro gamers in a couple sentences here.
Go ahead.
I think we should make them play on those maps, and I think that the Warp Prism should have a lift-up range +1.
Player 1, Fantasy.
What do you guys think about that?
Hopefully we'll have some more of those new maps that we haven't get unpacked. It will eventually happen, but this is to what Artosis is saying. Here's kind of the problem for the pro. These guys. Oh, from Canada. Thank you for coming down. We love you. When you're one of these pro gamers and everything's on the line and you play nonstop all day every day because it's your job, you want to play on one of the maps you just know really well, because you're playing to win, to take every tool that you have, every asset that you have, and use it to your advantage. And so what we're having here on both sides is the pro gamers vetoing the new maps because they're not as comfortable on them.
Mm-hmm. But at that same time, right, if you are worse than your opponent, maybe you should not. Only to see a Terran get Protoss. Whew. Well, we'll see about that.
Hold out hope, guys.
Yeah.
I know that you guys are all hoping that it's going to be an even number of races to get to the round of 8. I'm actually hoping the tournament's ruined and we have only Protosses, okay? So everybody's got a different angle here.
Well, Super Tournament was so great, I just want to do that again.
Yeah. I don't understand PvP enough yet. I need a few more.
Yeah.
When's the last time we really had, kind of lopsided race dominance in StarCraft 2? I'm not talking about when Reddit thought that was. I mean, when it actually was happening in results. I guess we had it a lot in TBT and Wings of Liberty. There was a period
Wings
where
of Liberty, there was a ludicrous amount of Terrans getting far. I think there was a period of Zergs as well. It matters regions, though, also.
Okay, I'm just going to act like nothing happened there.
Yeah, no, it seems like everything's actually fine. It's maybe our system lagging a little bit. We're going to switch to music and see if that helps.
Yep, let's get some Terran music playing here. Yeah, that stops the bug.
But yeah, it matters region-wise as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, we generally just speak about Korea, but, like in Europe, Zergs obviously do very well. There's a lot of top-end Zergs there. Korea has a lot of very good Protoss players, and they're doing very, very well right now.
Yeah, this is a funny thing that...
go ahead. In the TVT dominance era, the Terran dominant era, that was like many of our very top players were Terran, and they probably would have been if they played another race too,
Yeah. It was also very dependent on who was playing what at the time, and who switched over to what. And that's actually always been a theme with different servers. I think it's beginning to get a little bit lower here because everybody's internet's getting better and the world's becoming more and more and more connected, which means it's more of a doable thing to actually play somebody from any region. Even if there's minor lag, you could at least get acquainted.
Yeah.
With the play styles of what's going on there. Where there was periods of time. I mean, the StarCraft franchise is about 21 years old now, so there's been periods where you really had completely isolated parts of the world where China was always a good example of this, where obviously there's so many Chinese players in the world, but China, great Chinese players would show up to tournaments and they were doing stuff completely different. It wasn't as good as what the Koreans were doing, but it was weird and hard to deal with. And I think we're going to see that kind of lessen over time, but we still have that same idea. Like European Zergs absolutely play a certain way. Korean Protosses seem to be overall more successful.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at what's going on here. Very standard 3-gate blink with Robo here from Hurricane into a third base, whereas Fantasy actually opening up with a Widow Mine drop. He is bringing his Reaper in maybe to draw attention so he can get the mine drop off. Let's see if that works out. Okay, see the Stalkers start to leave and then they think better of it. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's going to work out so well.
He actually made a little bit of a mistake there. The Stalkers didn't quite snipe down the one. Oh, hold on. Oh!
Good try.
Okay, I thought he might actually get that. That would have been a huge deal had he actually taken that out. Yeah, the Stalkers didn't quite snipe down the one Widow Mine. But yeah, as an idea, this is something we've seen a lot of. Okay, he's going to try to hunt this down. Now let's see where the medevac is going to go. It's curving over here. Is it going to go all the way back to the main? Oh, my God.
Oh,
great play. You know, it's so rare you see that happen. You got to keep in mind as well is that players can just bro the mines in the pursuit before they get there, and you can end up losing the Stalkers that way. So that was really impressive. Hurricane actually went out on the map and shot that down, and that's going to be a very tilting moment there for Fantasy.
Ooh, Fantasy's going mech against Protoss. King's Cove, a good map for this. We've seen a lot of mech play here against Protoss.
Yep.
He's got a lot of Marines roaming with this Raven, which might make him think that this is not, in fact, mech.
And so this is actually different from mech styles of the past, where a lot of times it was, it was pick one, mech or bio, and then you committed to that throughout the game. In this style that we're seeing now, the specific one that we're seeing now, you make a small amount of bio units, and as Artosis was saying, it can mislead the player, but it also gives you a certain set of tools in a specific point of the game, with the Raven and the Marines, and then you just switch completely and totally into that mech.
Well, it looks like Hurricane wants to do an attack coming up.
And in this tech switch, we got to figure out, does Terran have a soft spot here?
Well, +1 armor and charge being done and this many Blink Stalkers, it's like kind of scary.
Yeah.
If Fantasy just straight dies to this, that's going to feel really weird. I mean, he's making a lot of units.
Yeah. Remember, the Blink's done here.
Oh, gosh. He's catching him right here.
Oh,
actually, he might break that.
Okay, here we go. Looks like the Raven almost taking out the Zealots. Are going to try to swarm in now. The tank's getting surrounded.
Yeah. He's got to lift that command center off. This is going very
he's getting
poorly.
The tanks. There should be another Blink here shortly, and we have an unload over here inside the main as more Warpins are coming. Oh my God, he just won.
Man.
Damn.
Yeah, that's rough.
Okay, I got a lot to say about this, but we might have to wait for the break. Let's see if Terran can actually survive this. The problem is Protoss is basically just here on top of production.
Yeah.
GG, Hurricane takes game one. Okay, so what we were talking about kind of led up to how that game ended. So you have a player who's doing kind of the more modernized, tricky mech switch. And what you do is you're halting all your infantry production, you're switching, you're making all these factories. You do have tanks spread out, but he's taking a third at the same time.
Yeah.
He's moving out, the tanks aren't sieged.
Yeah.
And that is literally everything that can go wrong, for the mech player. Normally when you go mech, whether you started out doing it or you're switching into it, there's this period where you actually are impotent on the map. You can't really do anything. Yeah. You're basically just trying to not die to everything until you can get it set up. And trying to take a third base, it didn't seem like he was aware that there was stuff right out. Yeah, he just, he kind of dum. I'll just expand over here.
Yeah.
And got ran over. And specifically, Stalkers with Blink, a Warp Prism, Zealots with speed. No.
Yeah.
No, you're not going to live through that.
No, it was rough. He needed to know where the army was. He didn't know, and he died for it. Okay. Going on to map number 2. We'll see if Fantasy can pull something better than dying like that out. I mean, it's rough.
Indeed. Let's see if Fantasy can pull something better than dying like that right out.
Pull it right out of his pocket, man, out of his back pocket. He's like, ha ha! And he dies in a much better way here.
All right, game 2 is ready. Let's do this.
게임이 시작됩니다.
Hurricane.
What are you giggling about?
I'll tell you.
People can hear your little laugh sniffles over there.
Well, I'm really going over that game in my head a little bit more.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I love Fantasy. He is one of my favorite Terran players of all time. Okay. I'm excited for him to be in StarCraft 2. We don't need him in StarCraft 1. We got basically every big name. I'm glad to have someone of this caliber from StarCraft 1 in StarCraft 2 active and really loving the game. It's amazing. His build was not really mapped out well. I'm surprised he actually brought it because think of this for a second, right? Hurricane went for a safe opener into a normal timed third.
Yeah.
He had a forge, okay? This wasn't just an all-in. He had +1 armor done, and then he was getting into +1 attack when this all went down, right? He had a good probe saturation, and Fantasy just died to like basically a regular build with an attack that came out.
Yeah.
Hurricane killed him and didn't even know he was going mech, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
So Fantasy was dead. Right? This is why I was
He got the work person that made. He goes, factories.
Yeah.
And then the game ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, Hurricane literally didn't even know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Didn't even know. Doesn't matter. Whatever.
Well, that's sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
What I'm trying to point out here is that you can't blame anything here on, like, balance or anything. Fantasy didn't know where he was. You can tell it wasn't super mapped out, right? Now that that happened, I bet you next time he does it on King's Cove, an SCV goes around to find out if that army's waiting there.
Well, that can happen. I mean, you know, it's kind of an elementary way to lose the game, but yeah, I mean, if you're expanding, you didn't know their army was right there. Oh, nice, killed the Reaper. If you weren't ready, yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Well,
it's just the thing is that's how people lose at every level of play. You're just like, oh, an army.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, that happens sometimes. That's okay. All right, so you know, the bunker coming up. Oh, how sad is that?
All right. Best action sequence ever.
Get in there. Okay. So Robo's coming up. Nothing seems too weird on either side.
Oh. He says touche.
He's like, you know what? Worked really well that last game, the Widowmine drop. Let me do that again.
Yeah. That was crazy because he actually got the medevac in the middle of the map.
Yeah, well, Fantasy got, like, I guess, a little bit greedy on when.
Here's a question.
When he turned it. Yeah.
It seems like, and I know a lot of this was related to trying to catch an Oracle, but should we still have Widow Mines just planted randomly on the map, maybe to catch armies or warp prisms and stuff like that? Because that kind of went away. And I know that the players are going for blink, so yeah, I mean, if you're watching and your reaction time is perfect, you could blink away as the missile's going to connect with your army. But is there any merit to this? Because we know that, you know, even though we talk so much about StarCraft being a game of perfect strategies or micro, sometimes it's also about just having your opponent's screen in the wrong place.
Sure.
And, you know, something happens, they weren't there to actually deal with it.
Mm-hmm. I would say right now Oracle builds aren't really all that strong. When they were completely the meta, it was really cool to see someone like Gumiho place them in such interesting locations to catch them and everything. But
that's actually not quite what I meant, but I think we already have this fight going on, so we'll have to get back to that in a second. This is a very cool little harass.
Yeah.
Shoot, 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 shoot. Look at this.
Yeah, he's getting some damage.
It's like, I'm going to drop this stuff out here.
Now, over here.
I won't lose any of my units. Okay, so this is a funny spot.
Yeah, but let's see what the drop does.
Okay. Again, really great control here. I don't... Oh, my God.
Oh, he was really slow on burrowing the second one.
Oh, my God, that's so sick. He unburrows the second one because it's grouped as it's running away. So it actually connects with even more on the way back.
Okay, a lot of SCVs actually going down here.
The
great
so
disable.
sick.
Great disable, but maybe not enough SCVs on it for that. Oh gosh.
Okay. All right, we'll just go ahead and do a warp it now. There you go. Yeah, you should be able to take this out.
Okay,
oh my God, he
gets
does it.
But the amount of damage done can't be taken back, Tasteless.
That's right. You can't put the genie back in the bottle.
You can't put the toothpaste back on the mineral line.
That's right. Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
My God.
Oh my God.
23 SCVs. 23 Tasteless dead. Gone forever.
So what I actually meant when I was talking about the going Widow Mines and hiding them, I actually meant just trying to hide them for harass like this. Not to like try to fight oracles, just like put them in the corner of a base. Because so often we have like players just going like, I'm going to blink in with stalkers. Or I'm going to try to bring a warp prism in. Instead of actually sending them across the map, do you think it might be a good idea to try to just like basically hard counter these attacks because they're coming out anyways?
Well, I think it has to do with factory build times, right? Like, when are you able to make those mines? Because they have to be made at specific times. Because right now, factory units early game are so important. So, I mean, it's an interesting idea. It's like, do you need the siege tank? Do you need the cyclone? I think that those are probably the questions you have to ask first before spreading mines too liberally. Because, like, there's been points in the meta where you're not really making siege tanks or cyclones in the early game. And I think that the mines were more useful then. Oh my God.
Uh-oh. It's a war prism with something.
Yeah. Look
this
at
time it's a
Choyo over
Colossus.
here.
Yeah. I've got beef with this depot. Good, you guys. This looks so weird.
We were made from the same metal factory. This depot talked about my Colossus mother.
Everything is like below. Where the thing's attacking, his back is facing the entire army. It actually looks way funnier.
It's so stupid looking. Just like, is this really what you intended?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, he's still getting work done with these Widow Mines.
One probe at a time.
Wait, Thermalance is going to be done, and this guy is coming back with a vengeance. Look at that flame that just stayed above the prism. I love it. I love that we have graphical glitches sometimes. Remember that Reaper that just went up to heaven when it died?
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is a moment where it's like when they would try to put like a 16th of a second of popcorn in the frame of a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see a Colossus back there?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm
thirsty.
feeling like teching a Colossi in this game.
I'm thirsty for some Mountain Dew. All right, so the mines, I mean, the mines did pretty well.
Oh, no. Is it a glitch in the Matrix? Oh, no, it's not, actually, because he's not going to get that. Okay.
Don't forget this started with like 23 SCVs dying.
Yeah. Okay, so Terran's going to push out. This is a very balanced army, by the way, from Terran.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
You got to have a very complete Protoss army to fight this off. Marines, a decent amount of Marauders and tanks with medevacs here, too.
Seems to me that the medevac is where he might get the real damage done. I don't think that this army is actually big enough to kill the third.
All right, here comes the hero unit, Colossicane.
Colossicane?
Yeah, that's Hurricane's Colossus here.
Oh, Colossicane,
yeah.
I get it.
He was the rejected Transformer in Michael Bay's movies. He never got to be in anything of significance. Oh, my God. Great play. He took that out.
Unfortunately, drops this drop on top of Photon Cannon and Zealot. Oh, that could be a good place. Get rid of that pylon.
Is he unloading there? Yeah, he is. He is. Actually, I think he might get that. There's no way to get Zealots back there.
Yeah, that one Zealot's not going to be able to defend against that. Wow, look at this. A big push here into the natural.
This is going to get chased away. The question is, where's it going to go? Oh, he's actually fished out a decent amount of the army here.
Look at those siege tanks. Just go to town on Colossacane's brother.
That's right. Oh, no. All right, he's disabled him.
The depot sends his regards.
After we avenge the depot, we're going to salt the earth where this base was built so no one can ever live here again.
We're going to observe 3 seconds of burrowed depots for our fallen friend.
I I think actually Fantasy's going to bust him here.
This is so wild that he's doing so well after losing 27 SCVs or whatever it was.
No, hold on. A lot of this comes down to the fact that those tanks are so well placed. He can't get back over there. The Templar Archive is being remade, so Templar Tech is kind of out of the question. Okay, now hold on.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Still alive.
Well, I think that Fantasy still got it. Step 1, lose 27 SCVs to a Prism and Gateway units without upgrades. Step 2, roll through. Roll through the Colossus
such a
dropping
weird
guy.
game.
Oh my God.
I think basically Protoss had the lead, guys, and then he actually overextended, I think, a lot of different directions. I think he was too confident, and so the counterattack actually was good. Although I'll tell you what, Fantasy placed the tanks very well. He did some great disables there with the Raven on the 2 Colossi, on Colossacane's twin younger brothers. And
Colossacane was really out of line there, man.
Yeah. And I think Hurricane's going to be kicking himself for that because, again, I mean, Game 1 was won by Hurricane pretty cleanly, and frankly, I think Game 2 was already won by Hurricane again, but he didn't.
You can look
take
by
all the proper steps.
You can look at his face and
that's,
see that he thinks
oh
that
boy,
too.
I should not have lost
really?
that.
Like, aren't I supposed to just win after I kill that many SCVs? Well, Fantasy doing a very good job of coming back there. I'm quite impressed.
Cyber Forest for map 3. By the way,
it was either that or New Repugnancy.
It certainly wouldn't have been any of our 2 new maps that we really want to explore. Yeah. Okay, so Fiber Source. Cyber Forest it is. Let's go into Game 3. Hurricane versus Fantasy.
게임이 시작됩니다.
Hurricane. Player 1, Fantasy.
Okay, back. What did I miss?
We've actually had this theme here with 2 of our players in this group. Both RagnaroK and Hurricane are playing way better than I think you or I are used to when we cast them. But I'm sure for the people watching at home or in the studio, if you've been following StarCraft 2 for a while, you probably had a certain view of those 2 players. You root for them, especially because they're underdogs, and but they're not bad, but they don't perform as well as the other players. But now they're both looking very strong.
Yeah, for a long time there, they were chum, you know?
Yeah.
Terrence is
Protoss scum.
Excellent.
Take that, Terrence. Thanks for coming down, buddy. From Portugal to watch GSL. Thank you for coming down.
Yeah.
So happy you guys are here. This is just, it's so cool how international our audience is.
Yeah, it really is.
So, this time around we had Hurricane. Actually, in both games back there, we had strats where Hurricane actually, like, his strategy worked, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that rush worked with the War Prism.
Worked with a capital W.
Yeah.
But it didn't translate into a capital W, did
it? Yeah, it worked. It's like when you you capitalize, uncapitalize, capitalize, uncapitalize to create a kind of sarcasm by the end of the game. You see that in memes, Artosis?
Do I see that in memes?
You see those memes where they change the spelling? They lowercase the first part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it initially worked just capitalized with the W, but later on it actually, we had to change the
I thought that was
font.
just how Protoss is typed.
Yeah, that's how they think, Artosis.
That's definitely
that's
how they
the
think.
thoughts come out.
Well, we won't see anything quite like. Oh, look at that! He started a sentry, canceled it, threw down a robo. Maybe some indecision,
some robery. Factory is coming down here for the Terran. We're gonna have a little bit of a slow period. We really want to watch that robotics tech and figure out, okay, what exactly is going to come out from this. How many Immortals? When is the War Prism going to come? When does he make the Observer to spot what the Terran's up to?
You have a lot of questions, Tasteless. How about the answers, though?
How about those answers? I won't stop casting until I get to the bottom of this game, Artosis.
No, probably not even then.
I'm no gumshoe.
Yeah. Look at this. He's going Widow Mines again. This is just what he likes.
So our first Immortal has started. Remember that in game 1 we had infantry come out, and then it was a mech switch, and Hurricane didn't even know it, but his attack worked anyways and just ran over Fantasy.
Why is he making an Immortal?
Yeah, that's actually not what I
Immortals
expected.
are good, but like, oh, you know what? He's going to go Prism after this.
So
and he's just going to go.
He's going to send that Immortal across the map, and he's going to have the ability to juggle. Now, keep in mind, you can attack the front and then cycle into the main with a build like this. He also made a hallucinated Oracle just for the scout here, and that's his workaround to not having an observer right away.
Yeah. Okay, he throws up a pylon to watch for that incoming drop. But yeah, this should be an attack coming up. It's interesting. Maybe he just feels like Fantasy is a little bit weak in the early game. He gets so technical with everything.
Well, this is pretty ineffectual so far as far as attack goes. I guess he's not going to attack out over here with the Immortal. He's going to stay back and actually defend.
That's interesting. To make an Immortal.
Sorry for the misread there, guys. Well, hold on. Now he's pulling away.
Dude, he has 4 gates and an Immortal and a Prism. Like, this isn't a build if he doesn't attack.
Yeah.
It's not a build.
Well, it's just weird because he also made a third Nexus here. So this is kind of like an everything build. But I guess if Terran doesn't come out and punish it, it's a Terran loses in every way loss.
Yeah, I'm not
sure.
Terran
is coming out though.
Such a weird play here by Hurricane. I'm not really like, huh? I mean, this push that's coming up shouldn't be an issue.
Uh-oh.
That's for sure.
Okay. Not bad. Get some of those Marines on the other side. The Immortal is going to target down that tank. Oh my God, the Immortal dies, and the tank lives for at least for a little bit.
Yeah, he does target that down, and now it's just a bunch of Marines without stim, so he should be fine there. Nice Liberator, though, coming around the side.
Again, without the Immortal there, the second tank is actually more of a threat here. Stalkers alone are not going to cut it. Stimless Marines for the win, guys.
I guess so.
This is where Fantasy pushes up, and just like what happened in Game 1, only in reverse, he goes, oh, third Nexus.
All right, well, the Liberator continuing to do its stuff. Kind of a weird attack. He came down the ramp, put a force field on the tank, lost a sentry, and went back up the ramp.
Yeah. Now, there's not as much sustain here with this attack for the Terran. If you can get the right units out, the problem is... Okay, hold on. Here we go.
The Stalkers tank quite a bit of damage right there. He
Great control here by Hurricane.
Yeah, seems like he should be able to hold on. What's his economy looking like behind this, I wonder?
Well, it's 43 workers to 51. But
how many of them are mining, though, Tasis?
That's a good question. Yeah. Well, and how many of these SVs are not mining? Here we got 3 that are just going to go into the army and die.
Well, maybe they're going to go mine. We don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what his plan was. That one has minerals. Where'd it get it, Tasis?
It was stolen. It was pickpocketed.
Someone else dropped it. It's like capture the flag.
Okay, this game is so weird.
Yeah, very, very different opening. I haven't seen anyone just open like Immortal, Prism, 4-gate, and then stay at home. But I guess, I mean, he knew that the medevac was on the map. I don't know.
This is a blind spot in the Terran's base. Oh, but he's not going to try to surprise warp in there. You know, there's not very much back at home for Terran here.
He's got to be careful with this. Oh, my God.
Can he just do a warp in? Is he just going to go for it?
No.
All right.
Leave my warp prism alone.
2 very slow units in a chase here. That's what we've got. Okay, now the front is actually pretty well defended.
Yeah, he can't be broken.
But, you know, Protoss seems to have enough muscle that you probably can't expand that easily. Stim is only just starting, too. I mean, we're already almost to 8 minutes, and Stim has only just begun.
Yeah, we don't have Blink right now for Hurricane, so...
He's fine. He's got a Warp Prism.
He's playing a bit low-tech.
It's better than Blink. It's Blink with Warpins.
That's true. Slightly harder to do.
Okay, now the Zealots are going to come forward here.
Wow, that is a lot of Zealots.
Oh!
Tank on low ground doing a great job. Now he doesn't have his sentry anymore.
Yep, but guess what?
No more stim.
No more stim.
Fantasy doesn't even like stim.
Yeah. He's going to have to go mech now, or Toast, and put all his barracks across the map.
That would be amazing with 1-1 upgrades. Yeah, very carefully taking care of this.
Yeah, he's got to not overextend. Now, eventually, this will have to be recalled back home.
Yeah. The Prism is gone. Oh, it waits for the charge and actually goes right in. Very nice.
He needs to recall fast. Uh-oh, doesn't get those Zealots. That's unfortunate. What a funny game.
I feel like Fantasy is playing a bit better than Hurricane overall. Definitely it is a very weird game. I'm interested to think to know what Hurricane was thinking to open, what that was all about. Probably just reactionary, but right now he is getting some really great upgrades. Blink is going to be finishing up. Psystorm about halfway. He's getting +2 armor as well.
Damn! I almost choked on my water there for a second when I saw that coming in. Man, he's going to try to unload over here. Templars are coming out. Well, we've got the Immortals coming in here on the high ground. This is a great bust here by Hurricane. Masterfully executed. Even though he disables the warp in, we already have those tanks killed, and I think it should be easy for Protoss to try to push up even further here. But the 2 Immortals actually isolated down here.
Yeah, and he lost the Prism.
Viking shoots that down.
It was such a nice disable right there.
Blink is done. Storm is almost done.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot to defend besides workers and infantry, so Storm in the next 5 seconds is going to be incredibly strong. Oh, you have Storm. Please use it.
Just then. Well, that last Storm was very good. Okay, he's killed 24 SCVs. This is a prerequisite for Fantasy winning, right?
Yeah, that's right. If anything like the last game. Now look at this club. If he storms that, oh. And you know, with no artillery here, no siege weapon, it's hard to, you know, not drive the Protoss out here. And so Protoss decides to just regroup. Already killing 25 SCVs, punting the command center back up towards the main. I think it's about to land again here. But this is getting worse and worse and worse for Fantasy. Fantasy needs to get a third very quickly, or he's going to be in economic quicksand.
He's just now going to be finishing up Stim.
Okay, so he's going to try to be a sneaky snake.
Oh, it's not a bad plan, I think. You got to take a few risks here.
And sometimes this will end up just not getting noticed, even though it's you know, there's so much going on here. It may look like, in fact, Fantasy's just staying on 2 base for longer, but at the same time, he's moving out, which I don't know why he would do, because that's how the Protoss is then going to kill the army here.
Yeah, he needs to be very careful with this.
Ouch.
Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully his medevac in the bottom right or bottom left rather can do something, because he doesn't have a whole lot of options right now. And Hurricane on 4 bases, continuing his upgrades, is looking really good.
Ouch. Well, you know, from the low ground, it's very easy to storm this. There's no tanks here or anything to drive this away, so you can kind of just warp in and punish. So this should be the end of this game. We have a small drop coming in here at the bottom right. I can't imagine this would have the impact needed to turn a game like this on its head.
Yeah. Having a hard time chewing through these Archons. Just so much help. Oh, beautiful
Great
juggle back.
Control,
as well.
wow. It's just a matter of time before the warp-ins can actually drive that drop away.
Yeah, and I think that's about it. The Prophecy tasteless. 2 Protosses in the winter match.
And let's not forget Colossicane, the hero unit from game 2.
I don't think we're going to see him in this PvP coming up.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
All right, Fantasy, just like it did in Brood War, he's not leaving.
Yeah. Well, he does have that hidden base, right? So
yeah,
there's always hope. That's why he said he did it, is because like sometimes you have a hidden base. And if you leave games quickly all the time and then you don't once, they're going to know that you have a base.
Yeah, it's true.
Here you just expect him to never leave because he's Fantasy. Oh, he's building 3 depots.
Yep. All right.
Still supply
Sorry,
block.
everybody. Yeah. So eventually, Protoss will have enough to actually run up a ramp that's walled in and everything else.
Did you see that?
No, I did not.
No, he didn't either.
But what was it?
He just ran an army by the CC, but it didn't have vision.
Oh, how funny. So Hurricane will be going on to the winners match. We'll be having a PvP next here against Classic.
How dare you call this game over?
Yeah.
How dare you?
It's my bias. I mean, it's still a game of chance, but I'm such a Hurricane fan.
Yeah.
It's hard to cast and not cheer.
Man, Fantasy trying so hard to stay alive.
All right, buddy. It's 172 supply to 86. This is...
He's...
All right.
Well, what about those two Liberators? Can they do it?
Well, let's find out. There's no way to know until we watch. Okay, GG. Hurricane wins that series 2-1. Fantasy is not out. He will, of course, be facing off against RagnaroK.
A very nice close stage so far. I mean, I think both these matches are up for grabs. Hurricane has to be feeling good after that Game 2 loss. It didn't seem like he should lose.
Yeah, some highs and some lows there in that game, but
yeah, peaks and valleys,
ups and downs.
Ins and
We're going to
outs.
go to a short break. When we come back, Hurricane versus Classic will be coming up next.
I'm on the good it be done. Good it be done. I'm on the good it be done.
이렇게 났으면 1차 대결 시작하겠습니다. 저기 병력 수환쿨 위쪽에서 지금 썼고 관측선이 있습니다.
추적자가 본진에 준비되게 만든 것.
그랬어요.
DNA가 좀 더 시간을 끌어줬어야 했는데 지금 괜시가 여기 묶여 있는 거 보면 본진에 소환한 추적자도 이제 떠나볼만 하죠.
앞으로
건설 로봇이 잘 붙어주기만 하고
전차.
배설돼서 광전사에 한 번만 들어가더라도 테란이 밀 수 있는 활용 충분하거든요. 광전사가 먼저 잘 붙긴 했지만 추적자 상대로 건설 로봇 블록이 결국 들어갔습니다.
해병이 40기입니다. 이건 전차가 없어도 싸움에서 이긴다라는 거예요. 그래서 지금 거신이 나오기 전까지, 거신과 공방협이 되기 전까지 프로토스는 조합이 유지된 상태로 병력을 돌리면서 후속 공격을 끊었어야 되는데 후안 선수의 타이밍이 워낙 좋다 보니까 그런 판단을 할 수가 없었죠. 거신만으로는 못 뚫습니다. 여기도 이미 언덕이
보고 있어요.
자, 3개의 전차거든요.
네, 공성 모드 푸는 타이밍에 그나마 시작이었었는데 계속 스캐너 탐색 쓰면서 언제 오는지를 보고 있다 보니까 안 풀었죠.
그렇죠. 그리고 거신 하나가 해병을 잘 잡는다 하더라도 양에서
경기 좀 있게 났습니다. 2차 대결 시작하겠습니다.
앞마당에 건설 로봇이 있기 때문에 충분히 수리해볼만 하거든요. 반응만 해준다면. 네, 그리고 그 사이클론이 나오기 때문에 이거 막아볼만 합니다. 후안 입장에서 상황이 더 좋아지고 있어요.
네, 마침 본진 최저가가 근데 수리? 네, 건설 로봇이 좀 죽더라고요.
근데 오히려 벙커가 깨질 듯 말 듯 더 큰 이득을 얻었어요.
사이클론이
하나 살렸어요.
동선을 더 가깝게 만들려고 했는데
위치.
김유진이 오히려 먼저 때렸죠. 이거 김유진 싸우나요? 이거 싸우면 안 돼요.
그나마 하고 싶은 게 기습이었던 거예요. 밤까마귀가 에너지를 소비하기 전에 먼저 때려서 미리 줄이는 건데
두 방 들어갔고 역장.
근데 너무 부족해요. 시간을 끌어야 되는데 끌 수가 없어요.
병력 양 차이가 좀 벌어졌습니다.
이건 후원 입장에서는 완승이죠. 거신 자체가 못 붙게 지금 전차 2기 조금만 더 오른쪽으로 전진하고 해성 불고 언덕 위로 올라가게 되면 재련소 깨면서 앞마당까지도 테러가 가능합니다. 양 자체가 군연사가 훨씬 많아야 되는 상황이라서 이건 이 한 방에 거신이 살면서 들어야 됩니다. 못 들으면 테란이 붙이고 밀 수 있어요.
소원패
점사.
근데 소원패 유지가 안 돼요.
보다 전차 하나가 거신 1.4 해주는 것도 너무 큰 압박이죠.
딴 데 보고 있어야 돼요. 딴 데.
다른 곳. 이게 좀 많이 힘든 상황이기는 한데.
아이고.
자, 여기 하나 또 나왔습니다.
이번에도 안 맞으면
깨지고 좀 들어가는 병력 몰렸어요.
이 다음 분열기 나오려면 시간 많이 필요하거든요.
거신
자격제를 남발하는 실수를 한다 하더라도 충분히 이겨볼 만한 상황인데 그 득점마저도 보완이 돼 있는 후안이에요.
지금 유령까지 합류를 했고
프로토스가 여기서 버틴다고 해서 이기는 상황이 아닌 겁니다.
바이킹 추가로 왔습니다.
이번에도 정말 잘 피하는데요.
로페즈 선수 까다로운 상대 김유진 선수 잡아내고 승자전에 먼저 올라갑니다. 경기 좀 끝났습니다. 1사 대결을 시작하겠습니다.
당장의 타이밍이 약간은 느리다 보니까 전투 하나 이득을 취하면서 하염차도 꾸준히 찍었거든요. 상대 여왕이 못 달리기만 만들면 오히려 전투형 입장에서 더 쉽게 잡아먹을 수 있는 상황인데 보여요.
8킬까지.
깡골 의도 알았죠? 이렇게 되면 이제 추가 병력은 모두 다 본진에서 기다려야 되고요. 그 앞마당 쪽도 대응이 바로 되고 있는 거라 만약 이 앞마당 쪽까지 실패하면 미래 없습니다.
일단
네,
신호
바리케이트.
너무 잘해주는 판단이거든요. 앞마당 본진에 또 뚫어주는 식의 플레이를 해주고 있는데
좋아요.
결국에 지금 이게
와.
여왕이 나오지 못한다면 테란 자극제가 된다면 이건 막히는 상황이에요.
자 대신에 공성전차.
그렇죠. 언덕 위에 전차가 나왔고 전투신형함이 돌아왔다라는 건 막을 수 있는 변수가 살짝 생긴 거예요.
이게 두 번째는 막기 어려울 수 있다라고 판단하고 전술을 바로 본진 쪽에 교환시킨 건 전태양 선수 좋은 판단이에요.
그리고 여왕 양으로 여기서
리페리온
위에서 지금 저글링 추가로 나와서 전차만 끊어주면 뚫을 수 있습니다.
공이 공격.
수억의 리페리온 테라 나왔어요.
네, 뒤로 다시 한번.
고철철이장 시절에 나오던 플레이인데 전술이 안 죽어요.
전술
거의
무적이세요.
안 죽어요.
전술이 안
와,
죽습니다.
이거 무적.
야, 거의
전술.
10년 전에 나왔던 리페리온 테라.
와 거기다 자극제된 해병 이제 나오고 다시 한번 공성 전차. 이건 신임 선수가 여기서 추가 이득을 건설 로봇을 더 줄여주지 못하면 이건 불리해지는 겁니다.
영웅의 교환이네요.
와, 경기 좀 끝났습니다. 2사 대결 시작하겠습니다.
본진 반응 느리면 일벌레 8개 순삭입니다.
이전 화염차에 대한
여기
아이고 시선 잘.
반응이 빨랐어도 몰라요. 일벌레에 따라가는 거니까요.
그리고 뭉쳐서 어차피
아우.
12기에 태웠어요. 거기다가.
전술 및 해병 있으니까 단순 뮤탈로는 이거 걷어내기 힘들다라는 거죠.
아 근데 진짜 깔끔한데요.
그래서 맹독충 대박이.
어우 뮤탈이 와서 이거 정리하느냐인데 사이클론이 합류되면 그마저도 안 되잖아요.
이거 전술 하나.
영화까지 제동하고
공성 모드도 가능하고 화염차가 맹독충을 녹이고 난 이후엔 기갑병으로 변기까지 가능하다 보니까 테란이 이거 압박해주는 거잖아요.
신이원 선수로선 저로에게가 왔습니다.
네. 조합 갖춰지고 이제 살모사까지.
거기다가
머리에 지금 오면 돼요. 일단 딱 지금 오면. 이러면 도로의 모드가 어정쩡해지죠.
그렇죠. 공성 모드도 안 돼 있기 때문에 맹독충과 히드라를 못 녹이고 있고요.
와, 조합으로 밀어버리고 있습니다. 신이범.
신이범이 정말.
신이범. 경기 좀 끝났습니다. 세 번째 세트 대결 시작하겠습니다.
그 플레이가 먹히려면 전태양 선수의 병력이 계속 이 위치를 사수해야 되고.
이거 쫓아가서 다 잡아야 되는데요. 만약 그러지 못하면 늦은 확장이 발목 잡습니다.
그렇죠. 전차만 살려도 괜찮아지는 건데.
잡고 뮤탈 왔을 때 한 번 더.
아직까지 상대방의 뮤탈의도를 모르다 보니까 아직 포탑이 트리플 지역 쪽에는 없었거든요. 이게 지금 공성 모드 되기 전에 맹독충으로 싹 녹여야 되는데 녹일 수 있나요?
좁아요.
뒤로.
컨트롤 여지가 되느냐?
그래도 저글링으로 또 들어와요.
네.
이게 결국 뮤탈리스크가 우르선을 줄여줄 수 있는 상황을 만들어야 되거든요.
저글링이 더 빨리 왔으면 진짜 교환비 저그가 압도적이었었는데 뭐 그건 아니라고 해도 이 병력 다 잡으면 결국
이거
성공입니다.
신임범이 엄청 좋아졌습니다. 결국에 의료선을 다 줄여줬어요. 소모전에서 엄청 큰 이득을 거둔 거죠.
그리고 나와 있는 병력이라서 이 병력 또 줄여주면 유닛링이 유지할 해볼만 합니다.
인구수 격차가 벌어지고 있고
해병불곰이 뮤링링을 상대로 주도권을 잡는 타이밍은 언제나 업그레이드가 앞설 텐데 후방사업을 못 눌러서 이명도 저희가 이겨요.
신이범.
정말 많은데요, 맹독충.
와, 인구수 지금 80 차이.
행성 요새 이거 준비 못하면 안 되는데요.
더 차이 벌어지게 되죠. 신이범 전태양 선수 잡아내면서 승자는 올라갑니다. 1사 대결을 시작하겠습니다.
와, 근데 후한 준비성은 인정할 수밖에 없는데요. 이거 화염차랑 해병이 트리플 접촉에 일부러 갔어요. 일부러 가서 여왕이 자신의 화염차를 따라오는지를 체크하고 여왕이 따라오니까 앞마당에 바로 차원대가 탄 겁니다. 이건 준비되어 있던 움직임이었어요.
들어갑니다. 포촉 깨고
이럴 때 감염충이 이미 모여있는 상태로 신경기생충을 쓰면서 전술을 줄여줘야 되는데 아직 에너지가 안 모였을 거거든요.
진균이라도 맞춰서 보조 못하게 진균 쓰기 전에
이거 살아갈 수 있는데
오히려
또 나와요.
네, 느낀 거죠. 골모로 잡혔던 전순이 생각보다 오래 잘 싸우니까 이건 내가 전투력을 앞서고 있다는 걸 이제 느껴버린 겁니다.
골모였는데
왕이 됐어요.
네, 전순원화가 오더니 여긴 내가 지배하겠다.
네. 와서 적진에 갔다가 단초타시킨 왕이 됐습니다.
그래서 경기는 이렇게 마무리.
와, 지제 경기 좀 끝났습니다. 두 번째 세트 대결 시작하겠습니다.
여왕이 수혈만 해줄 수만 있다면 여왕
화염차가
수혈 근데 수혈이 안 됐어요.
수리
그러면 화염차 그대로 컨트롤해주고 이전처럼
다 터져요.
전술 수리하면 되잖아요.
이 세계에 와서 지금 당황하고 있어요.
네, 여기
우리 편 어딨니?
전술 또 안 죽어요.
우리 편 빨리 와.
전술 안 녹아요.
무한 전순.
전술이 안 녹아요.
와, 무한.
아니 같이 오기로 한 친구들이 약속을 어겼습니다.
이게 전술이 이렇게 찼어요.
영웅 잃고 나서 다면 치고 오면 어떡해요?
아 이미 신영 선수는 건설로봇 지금 운영이 되는 상황이
우리 여왕은 어디 있어요?
예, 여왕은 전부 다 전멸했고 이제 뒤에서 저글링이 나왔는데
물론 이제 저글링 추가로 온 걸로 건설로봇을 얼마나 잡느냐에 따라 운영 갈 수 있는 여지가 생기는 거긴 한데 벙커 하나가 슈퍼 세이브 해주고 있고 여전히 건설로봇 숫자 테란이 많습니다.
이 땅콩에서
계속 저글링 계속
선수도 체력이 뭔가 어떻게
건설로봇 좀 나갔던 게 많이 잡혀요.
건설로봇 좀 심하게 잡혔어요.
경기 좀 끝났습니다. 세 번째 대결을 시작하겠습니다.
밀지마.
밀어서
누가 밀었어?
와
아래쪽도
밀었어요.
여기서 신영환 선수도 뮤탈이 전차를 때릴 만한 타이밍이 많거든요.
네.
이거 살짝 돌아서 전차 때려줘야 돼요. 전차 끊고 싸우면 훨씬 더 싸우기 편합니다.
그렇죠. 전차가 프리딜러서 맹독충을
끊어요.
의료선 그대로 또 녹여줄 수 있고요.
와!
그럼 다시 한번 역전할 수 있겠는데요.
일꾼이 많이 잡혀서
진출한 병력 끊어주면 완벽한 마무리입니다.
여기는
신이범 선수가 잡을 확률이 너무 높습니다.
와 진짜 신이범.
네, 결국에 불곰이 한 두세 개씩은 찍혀주면서 조합이 갖춰졌어야
와,
되는데요.
와 트리플 깼습니다. 제 일꾼 수 절반 이하예요.
본진 사령부를 옮기면 일단 급히 수혈은 되겠지만 시간이 별로 없어요.
이병렬 다 끊어주고 의료선
여기가 잡혀서 의료선이 끊기면
지제 적의 라그나로크 신이범 지금까지 2012년부터 해서 무려 8년 도전했는데 생애 최초로 16강에 올라갑니다.
늦었어요. 왼쪽 정글이 늦어요.
오른쪽 쏘면 인구수 자체가 50 가까이 차이 날 수 있어요.
들어싸우나요?
째는 게 너무 완벽했기 때문에
생애 최초로 16강에 올라갑니다. 와 진짜 신이범 지제
Round of 16.
It's my turn now.
(2019) Mountain Dew GSL Season 2. Codex Renaissance.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to go to the winners match now, a Protoss versus Protoss. Thank God, at least one Protoss is going to survive to the round of 8 to start things off.
Yeah.
Now, it's supposed to be classic, okay? I don't know what
the way this season's going, it's going to be Hurricane.
Yeah.
Just calling it now.
I'm fine with this season going whatever way it goes, Artosis, as long as it doesn't end up like this last season of Game of Thrones, okay? I'll take anything but that, Artosis.
Okay. Let's see. Hurricane versus Classic. I mean, Classic's oftentimes been the best or one of the very best PvPers in the world, but those metas, those times are gone. Right now, it's all about just putting buildings in various random places.
Yeah, the meta's
in the middle
hyper
of the map.
cheesy.
It's so
very
cheesy.
much rewards risk-taking, and you know, some of the weirdest StarCraft 2 games you can get is where you're both proxying each other. Yeah. Because then there's all these other variables at play that can change you know, everything. So
yeah.
This is a tricky matchup. Now, I'll tell you what, man, even though Classic is supposed to win this, I think Hurricane is very, very capable of sneaking 2 wins out here.
Well, I hope he sneaks at least one because Thunderbird is map 3.
Oh, look at that. I wasn't even looking.
It's the only thing I look at.
Thunderbird. All right. A very aptly named map for the year 2019, Artosis Thunderbird. We're going to go to the game. Don't believe me? Just watch this. See? Whoa. That's why they let me do this here.
Hurricane. Makers Classic.
Jesus.
What's up, Artie?
Not too much. Happy to be back.
Yeah,
It's
we
an
had
exciting
about
week ahead of us.
9 or 10 days off of StarCraft 2. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
We kind of crunched all of Classic support here.
Go Classic, Mom Australia. Yes, Husky bring back Bronze League heroes. Well, it's the only thing he'd bring back for that is a video telling us with his all too handsome friends why he does not do that anymore. That's the best you can hope for. Sorry.
Now, yeah, we had this crunched 2 weeks of all the round of 32, so we had this little week off. But yeah, it's really good to be back here. And already we're having proxies go down here.
Oh yeah.
So we have Hurricane here in the middle of the map. Classics is in the bottom left. Now, is it going to be Stargates on both sides? Classic has already scouted the main here Hurricane's already scouted the main of Classic, so he knows that
they both look like Stargates. They really do. Just got to wait for that cybernetics core to finish.
Here we go. Buckle your seatbelts. The cores are done.
Hurricane, Stargate, Classic, Stargate.
Yes.
So both be Oracles. Stalker's being made by Hurricane, but 2 Adepts from Classic. Look at the differences. It's crazy. How many probes do we have on the map right now? Is it 3?
Quite a bit. They're both trying to spot each other's tech. Although I think,
I like that he's on the same high ground, but he's hiding there for different purposes.
Yeah.
My God. You know what PvP is right now? You ever play one of those, like an old Final Fantasy or something, where there's like, one of the characters is a thief. And you get him in the town of thieves, as if thieves could all live together in a town and make that function.
Yeah.
That is what PvP is right now. It's the town of thieves where you're like, okay, the economy here can't work. This is no.
Yeah.
Just no.
I like that idea. You get him in the town of thieves. That's so true. It's like is this just the highest crime rate in all of the game?
Or they just don't steal because they're all thieves and there's like honor amongst them.
Yeah.
Like, well, those are some pretty weak ass thieves because that's where I would do my thieving because they don't expect it. God. Anyways, that's my take on PvP. There you go.
I like that, Artosis.
Good.
So
I strive for your approval.
First Oracle's going to come in. There is 1 battery as well as 2 Stalkers. 1 Oracle alone is not going to do enough damage quickly enough for the battery to be unable to save the workers in time.
So the Nexus goes down, rightfully so. Classic into Phoenix. So I believe he has 2 Oracles and now is making a Phoenix. Hurricane is going into his 2 Oracles. Right? Yeah, he hasn't been chronoing as much.
So 2 is the number that can counteract the shield battery. Here we go.
So you micro it right, and he's so far doing a really great job. Oh yeah, that's...
What? Well,
seemed like a great
good thing
idea
you
to
said
me.
as long as he micros it right, because that was really exemplified right there when he started attacking the Stalker.
That's 2 or 3 probes less than he could have got.
Yeah. Very big deal when you're both 1 basing.
Okay, let's see how many Hurricane
Let's
can get.
see how many I can get. Oh, not as many as you.
I like how his Stalkers came in and then left.
Look at this.
And then they came back. And
you
then
know
they
what? We're
left again.
done here. We're out of shields. We should probably leave.
Yeah. So only 5. Retreat.
What a game.
God.
You know when that happens in a
PvP
game
is
like
so
that,
funny.
where you're like, well, that's not supposed to be how this game looks,
No.
but it is what's happening right now.
Yeah. These guys are great players. 2 probe advantage here for Hurricane. Jeff's like, no, put him back down.
Does Classic just have enough to take a fight here? I think he really does.
Well, he can easily kill the Nexus.
Yeah, which might be all you really need to do here. Now, there is a Blink. I assume it's going to be Blink coming here. in tech from Hurricane, but yeah, it seems like Classic just wins this fight straight up.
Yeah.
The Adept even shades in here to confirm what the tech is. Sees that.
Wow.
Now maybe it's
Very
going to be
good.
DTs or something else like that, but I think it's probably just going to be Blink.
You have to do something pretty risky at this point. Hurricane does have a little proxy pylon here. Looks like it gets scouted, unfortunately. You can just block that wall. Yeah, it's not interesting. You even use the 2 Orphans there. Very risky maneuver here from Hurricane, but I think that's what's called for.
I think
you gotta spend money to make money, Tasteless.
Classic.
The roulette wheel won't spin itself.
Classic is pretty much suffocated out, I think, any opportunities for a comeback here, especially with this pylon block. There's just not a lot you're going to be able to do. I mean, the other Nexus is going to get up here. Now he's going to take out the Stargate. 1 Oracle over here, but the battery can basically keep these probes sustainable as the Phoenix chases that Oracle out.
Yeah.
And he just wastes a die.
Classic really just unloaded the lead pebbles into this Hurricane, Tasteless. Isn't that how you're supposed to be able to stop Hurricane? Like you drop a bunch of like lead pebbles or something into it? There's like supposed to be a way that you can...
I thought they could stop Hurricanes by doing something, like some kind of contraption they put these giant like inner tube looking things in the ocean. I thought.
Really? Giant inner tubes in the ocean?
I read this in, what was it, Freakonomics or something like that they mentioned? I forget, something like that. I don't think it's your thing. You're like just like...
You read that in like, Are You Afraid of the Dark or
Artosis, guys, Artosis thinks you can drop fruity pebbles into a hurricane and stop it, okay?
Inner tubes in the ocean. Tasteless. You're going to have those inner tubes in the ocean. You're going to be like, why did it stop the hurricane? Then you go out to check. Whales are just using them. The ocean is no one's property, Tasteless. The whales can use those inner tubes if they want. They liked it when the hurricane blew by because it made big waves for them to be in. They're not going to drown.
One thing for, all right, tap out. I had a pun for Hurricane. That's one way to take out the Hurricane is to just do what you did in this game. Classic wins that game masterfully. You know, it's funny because PvP starts out so close and you're both proxying and there's so many moving parts in a situation like that, especially for both one basing. And so what he does is he handled every part of that perfectly. Got in, did the damage, took out enough workers, took out the expansion, took out the proxy, closed in, finished him off. Beautifully done.
Yeah.
There was no reason for Hurricane to even try to play that game out.
No, he knew to once he scouted. You know, you stay in for as long as you think you have any sort of chance. He knew that it was 0.
Yeah, we didn't see any outs there.
Yeah.
Got to call that one. So now we're going to go on into game number 2. It's going to be on the map New Repugnancy.
Okay, we need Hurricane to beat him here so we can see Thunderbird in action.
Let's do this, Hurricane. Show us Thunderbird and then get knocked into the loser's match. Whatever it takes.
Or win. I don't even care. I just want to see Thunderbird.
It's fine. Lose is fine, too. We're going to go to game number 2 now on New Repugnancy.
게임이 시작됩니다.
Let's go. Whoa.
Hurricane. Makers Classic.
You know, the more I think about your idea to put big inner tubes in the ocean to stop hurricanes, the funnier it gets. It's like, Tasteless, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm not even joking. I was actually thinking this stupid thought. I thought to myself, as I was, of course, wiping up spilt water in my house, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, how many towels would it take to wipe up the ocean?
You want an even more interesting question. How many ShamWows would you have to drop in the ocean to just completely take out all the water?
Yeah.
Have you seen those infomercials for the
No,
ShamWow?
it's crazy. It might even be, you know, more towel than a towel.
I think it might be like at least 7 ShamWows in the ocean is gone, Artosis.
How many towels would you just have to fill up the ocean with towels? Would they all sink? They do sink, right? They get too heavy when they get water in them.
That's a good point.
Are wet towels heavier than water? That's a good question.
I think the answer is yes.
I think it is. And then when they go to the bottom, do the fish like swim above them, or do they get covered with towels?
If you could drop enough
towel
if
fish.
we had some way to drop enough towels into the entire ocean, imagine all the sea life just getting crushed under the towels.
Either that or they all swim up, and then we get all these cool fish from the bottom of the ocean up at the top so we can see them finally.
Yeah, that's a good point. That or we have all of the ocean die all at once like it's some kind of contrived scene from Indiana Jones.
Or it could be like the reverse of Tremors. You know, Tremors where you see the ground move, and but it would be towels moving because sharks are under them.
You remember it was like a couple years ago you called me and you were like, you had done a whole bunch of important stuff that day. You're like, hey man, I just need to call you. We had to go to some work stuff. But what are you doing right now? And I'm like, I'm laying in my bed naked watching Tremors.
I do remember that. Yeah.
I was too. I was like, no, I decided to lay in my bed, do nothing, watch the movie Tremors. That's what my day was.
He's a magnificent being, this tasteless. Really glad that he's alive.
It was like 4 p.m. I hadn't even left my house.
God.
Okay, so we got a hidden robo here in the middle of the map.
Yeah, going up against Stargate.
And it's going to be classic with a hidden robo, so a little bit of a different approach here. He's going to get spotted. Ooh. Wow, good job keeping these stalkers away from that pylon.
You're threatening the adepts. Scary stuff. This probe going to see if there's any expansion.
Okay, and there is not.
Yeah, a solid scout overall for a probe.
Yeah. And so you know that something's coming, you just don't know what. And so we have that first Immortal out, and the War Prism will be the follow-up. Now, I think Hurricane's basically sniffed out danger and is probably not going to expand immediately. You see the probe even going back up the ramp. Can these adepts? Cannot.
Yeah, he's making his own rowboat, which is pretty good.
Yeah, and this is pointing towards a manageable game here from Hurricane.
Possibly, but this first push is going to be really scary.
Well, the thing is as well is that so much of PvP comes down not just to like deception, but control and how a lot of these engagements go down. And like even if they can defend one location, maybe something comes in, a drop comes in the main and kills stuff there. So we really can't unpack this game too much until the actual engagements start. Yeah. Oh, and he is expanding.
Okay, so that's obviously not going to make it. And there's a shield battery over in Classic's main. It does look pretty good for Classic, but if you can hold on here, you do have a couple tech trees, so that can be useful. Something like a Void Ray could be very useful against this as well. Yeah, he's not wasting any time on that Nexus. He knows that's free.
Okay, now it's not just a Nexus that, it's going to get eliminated. Well, it was eliminated, excuse me. It's going to be the gateway on the edge here. And again, on one base versus one base, this is not minor action. I mean, he's really beginning to let this damage actually mount. That has to be remade. Good catch there. And now he can actually walk up into the but Oracle's up here taking out some workers.
Oh man, unpowering this as well. Some shield batteries going down, but that should not be enough. There's no way to stop this.
Yeah, this is it. Classic just wins this game.
Yeah. Immortal pops out. Hey guys, I'm here. Yeah, not enough though.
What did I miss out on? Oh no, all right.
Yeah.
Well, this was a short series, guys, but I guess it's kind of what we expected. These Oracles are out of batteries right now. GG.
Okay.
Classic takes it.
Yeah, first place in the group, but I tell you, against RagnaroK, things could have been different. They weren't, but they could have been.
Yeah.
Not in this timeline, but maybe an alternate one.
Sometimes you win games, but other times you lose games. One of my great quotes.
You've always been known for that one.
That one's going on my tombstone, Artosis. We're going to go to an interview with Classic. It's going to be translated by Andy. And as soon as we have that ready, we're going to hop into that. Again, Classic, the best player. I think most of us would agree right now in the GSL. He is primed to possibly go to our finals.
Hello, we're going to have an interview with Classic of Team Makers. Okay, the interviewer is not feeling well today, so please take that into account. Congratulations on the win. So you had a pretty successful round this time. I achieved a victory, but sometimes I actually made all the groups and then I fell in like round of 8. So I was kind of worried, but I made a lot of preparation and I'm glad that it bore fruit.
16강부터 결승전 같이 경기를 하시고
always,
정말
you
막강한 상대들
show
많이
stellar performance from the round of 16 to the
오늘
finals.
A조가 주는 위압감, 부담감 어느 정도였나요?
And Group A is such a deadly group. And are there any pressure?
령우 만날 때처럼 느껴서
there's always pressure.
안 하고 뭐 조가 쉬워 보일 수도 있겠지만 뭐 질 수도 있다고
The matchup
생각해서
might look easy, but
했더니
I think there's possibility that I'm gonna lose.
하면서는 좀 다르지 않으셨어요?
하면서는 좀 잘 풀려서
While I was in the game,
쉽게 올라간 것 같긴 한데
I got into the stride, and
힘들긴 했어요.
things went quite well for me.
이런 이야기를 하는 이유가 아니
The
질문할 게
reason why I'm
없습니다.
saying this is because I have no questions for you. Because it was such a stellar performance from you today, and there's nothing that I could really comment on.
다만 그래도 저그전을 조금 아쉽게 풀었던 것 같아요.
But I think your game against the Zerg was a little bit harder than the other ones.
병력을 갈무리해서 올라오지 않고 굴락을 갔더라면 그렇다면 2세트 방향이 좀 다르게 갔을까요?
In the second set, are there any changes that you might have incorporated to your strategies?
했을 것 같고.
네.
사실 제가 당연히
I
가면
think I would have went for the same strategy.
막으시더라고요. 그래서 최종전에서 또 만나면 힘들
And
수도 있겠다 싶어서
in the finals, if I do meet him again,
올라가자라는 생각을 갖고 있었어요.
I just,
그렇습니다.
in my mind, I just wanted to make it out of the
가장
groups.
먼저 8강에 올라가게 됐습니다.
So you are the
이번에
first
탑시드를
qualifier
처음 경험을
in the round of
해보면서
16.
아 탑시드가 이렇게 좋은 거구나 생각을 하셨을 것 같은데요. 어떠신가요?
And how's the top seed
그동안
going for you right now?
혼자 꿀 빨고 있었구나 생각했고
it's a big advantage, surely.
제가 누굴 이렇게 뽑는다 해도
And even if I pick a particular person,
못 하더라고요.
other people really can't complain.
그리고 이제 8강 올라가게 됐는데
I make it to the round of 8 now.
만날 수가 있어요.
네.
I might play against Sue, but I hope I don't
미리
beat
안
him.
만났으면 좋겠다 딱 박아두셨는데요.
Wow, okay.
자, 그 어느 때보다 이번 시즌이 기회라고 생각이 됩니다.
This season might
김도
be your
선수의
chance.
한마디 들어보겠습니다.
Any final words?
네, 지금 좀 폼이 좋더라고 생각해서
My recent form has been quite good,
기회인 것 같고
and I think this is the chance that I might make it to the finals, and I hope I can.
감사합니다.
네, 다시
Thank
한번
you.
축하드립니다.
Thank you again for your victory.
Thanks, Andy. Good work.
계속해서 GSL 이벤트
So Classic moves
안내해드립니다.
on. Look, I
이번
think we
시즌
all
새롭게
saw that
GSL 시즌 2
as the most likely outcome, but now it's a lot harder to call who is actually going to advance in second.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think Hurricane and RagnaroK are both pretty decent bets. If Fantasy comes through and surprises, I mean, I'm happy with that because it's Fantasy and it's cool to see him get deep. I don't feel like he's quite ready for a round of 8, though.
He looks really strong, but there are some holes in his play. He's made some mistakes where you go, unless that's like a 1 in 100 mistake, I don't know if you can survive. And I'm specifically pointing out that game where he was going from bio, switched into mech, and then tried to take a third and didn't know that the opponent's army was outside of his third that he was taking. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, our fourth best of 3 in tonight's GSL Codes.
Baby, I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm no good at this shit, no. Baby, I'm trying. Can we just pretend that it's never ending? If this is the last summer we have each other, we'll drink champagne all day. Baby, if this is the last summer we have each other, we'll get so high. Don't cry, we'll make it last forever. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, if this is the yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, if this is the yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, if this is the yeah, 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 yeah. Bothered me anyway. It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small, and the fears that once control me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry. Here I stand, and here I stay. Let the storm rage on. My power flurries through, carrying to the ground. My soul is spiraling in frozen fractals all around. And one thought crystallizes like an icy blast. I'm never going back. The past is in the past. Let it go, let it go. And I'll rise like the break of dawn. Let it go, let it go. That perfect girl is gone. Here I stand in the light of day. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway.
Round of 16.
It's my turn now.
GSL Season 2. Codex. Renaissance.
All right, we're back. RagnaroK versus Fantasy is coming up next. We will be eliminating one of these two players. Now, RagnaroK, I gotta say, is playing amazingly. Okay, it's really cool to see him kind of find his stride. Fantasy, look, Artosis and I are both from StarCraft 1. We're big fans of this guy's play in Brood War, but I don't know if he's prepared to really survive to the round of 8 here with the play he's brought today.
I was frankly surprised he made it to the round of 16. I don't feel like he's someone that will necessarily make it every season as of yet. He made it this season. Maybe he'll continue to improve. Maybe he's got some skill there already that we haven't quite seen. But his play seems like it's occasionally flimsy, and you need to be pretty rock solid to get deeper than this. So Can he do it against RagnaroK? RagnaroK already took down Special and TY in the previous round. I don't know what Fantasy has prepared, though. You don't know with this guy, and even if he looks somewhat flimsy for a bit, there might be a moment where he just, everything clicks and he knows it all and he wins GSL. And then we're like, oh, there he is.
Oh my God.
Thunderbird.
What is that? Is that a map? Thunderbird? Well, what kind of? A bird of thunder? You say? We're finally going to get to cast one of the new maps. Woo! Ooh, let's go. Thunderbird is ready. RagnaroK versus Fantasy starts now.
게임이 시작됩니다.
Storm Gaming, RagnaroK. Player 1, Fantasy.
You know, these maps with the minerals that you can mine through. Have you ever seen in StarCraft 1 maps that have this? If you ever go in against a PC and it'll like build a command center next to those minerals.
All right, from Canada. Thanks for coming down.
Yeah, it looks very
cool. So this was...
looks like something a monk would walk across to prove that
yeah. Some hot coals there. So this is actually, for some of you guys, this might be totally insane looking at this, but this is actually not a totally new concept in StarCraft. This is something from StarCraft 1. The idea is that, you know, obviously with destructible rocks, I mean, there's a certain way that you have to eliminate that, right? You need a big enough army. Minerals can't be destroyed. So what you have to do is send a worker out early, which can change the way, you know, certain builds can be executed. Now, while we've kind of seen how this has impacted StarCraft 1, and by the way, this made for some of the cool strategies in StarCraft 1, so it's cool that we're finally at a point here in StarCraft 2 we can start to do this. And so, see, he's going to send this worker out, create an opening, and we're going to see, again, how this kind of concept can be utilized on a map like this. And whether or not you want to have regions that are blocked by multiple minerals back-to-back so that, you know, it would take several workers to mine that out. This is going to be something that I think is really going to change StarCraft 2 in the long run, I think.
I'm excited about it. I hope that it really plays well. You never know. This is the first big try like this. Like Redshift was similar, but not exactly the same. You know, I got to say one thing. With all these different mineral paths, I feel like it's a good map for bad Terran players because they seem to always bring their SCVs with their army, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Okay, so just some light Reaper harassment. We'll see what's coming up next. I wonder if Fantasy will try any BC builds. Those have been popular.
I also wonder if Fantasy has anything specific for this map. You know, when we would watch the way that Fantasy would play the game back at StarCraft 1, it was really cool. He bent a lot of the rules of Terran. And had some very specific builds where if he just covered everything perfectly, he would be able to pull it off. And he wasn't a player who, right out of the gate in StarCraft 1, Vanilla or in Brood War, was a player who was good. He actually took him a long time to become a very, very top-tier player. And that might be the same thing here in StarCraft 2. That's why we've always got our eye on him.
Never know when he's going to pop up and just destroy. Well, just delays that base slightly. Looks like he may be going into Banshee here. Banshee Hellion, perhaps. We don't see a Cybernetics or a Cybernetics core, Fusion core here. So no BC, but it does look like Cloak Banshee along with Hellions. I think Fantasy's relatively likely to go ahead and play with mech here. I like that Overlord speed is of the utmost priority here for RagnaroK. I think that speaks a lot to his power as a macro player right now. He just wants to scout what's going on. He wants to know, is this going to be a BC? Is this going to be mech? Is it going to be bio? Is there a Hellbat push coming? What is it? And that Overlord speed obviously is going to help him to find that out very quickly.
Here comes the Baneling's Nest now. One thing about Fantasy also is that it's weird. He looks occasionally to be much more advanced than other people playing the game, but he's also made some mistakes that were things that he basically should have had sorted out in StarCraft 1. Does that make sense? At least in some of his StarCraft 2 games. I'm not sure where exactly he is in practice, but...
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think, we don't know, I think, is the best answer, is we don't know exactly how good he is at this game yet. And I think people can look at it and be like, well, he's in the round of 16. That's how good he is. No. We haven't really seen enough of his game since he's been back, plus because he just came back and he is a player that was a super champion before, not just like a regular champion, but like, you know, like not just a regular tournament, but a super tournament, one with lots of Protoss. That's kind of what fantasy is, you know. So, yeah, we aren't quite sure yet. We will see over the coming couple of years. Ooh, Banshee speed and mech.
Sick.
So a little bit of that Gumiho style.
And now with the Gumiho style, what you do is you stay back and you're capitalizing on the fact that Banshees with speed can dart around the map so quickly, and if the Zerg is out of place at all, I mean, locations just get pulverized. So, and then of course behind that you're making a very strong mech army and going into a late game engagement. And this is more of a traditional approach of how mech was played even back in the very, very early RTS days.
The Speed Banshees kind of add this whole new interesting thing. You know what other player actually was a big Speed Banshee mech player? It was Ryung.
That's right.
Yeah. I think he must be in the military now. I haven't heard it from him in quite some time.
I believe he is in the military now,
He's doing a bit of commentary and stuff, but yeah, I haven't even seen his name in a qualifier. But anyways, we do have some Cyclones being made. That Banshee speed will be done relatively soon. Roaches are being made here from RagnaroK, who's continuing to expand and push his creep. Gotta be careful, you don't want to lose those right before speed's done. You feel like quite the fool.
We've actually had some games where the Banshees are eliminated immediately, and it is quite unfortunate.
It's like whenever a Banshee dies like 2 seconds before Cloak finishes.
Yeah,
that's a sad moment.
Whoa! We'll never truly get used to the range of that thing. At some moments you think, really?
God.
Damn.
My God.
Okay. Speed is almost done now. Yeah, again, RagnaroK's also, I've been talking maybe a little bit too much about fantasy here, but RagnaroK's also a player who we kind of remembered him as this cheesy Zerg player.
Yeah.
And for good reason, he was actually very cheesy. And then he'd occasionally get into situations in games where he'd lose in a situation that kind of didn't make a lot of sense, just for how most of the other games went here. But he's really transitioned into a really healthy macro style, a very good reactionary style. So these are two very unusual players to have here against each other in the round of 16.
Feels like we're seeing him do what Lenok did last year, where you're this Zerg that's kind of not doing that well for a long time, kind of overly aggressive, and then suddenly you are one of the best macro Zergs.
Yeah,
and I don't want to oversell him yet, but what I've seen so far this season really makes me excited. I mean, Katowice as well. I mean, a lot of people have seen this and commented on it. He's looking very strong. Now, it looks like Battle Mech is the choice from
I
actually before.
I miscalled this earlier. I thought it was going to be more of a turtle mech, but no, not at all. It's going to be a mech where he comes out and tries to get in a fight here. Now, Ravagers don't really have as much that they can do against this army comp. These units have the easiest time dodging corrosive biles.
Yeah, but you know, the idea of the Ravagers, I think, is to throw down the biles for your retreat, because then they can't follow you in, and thus the lock-on will end a little bit quicker. So I like having just a small amount of Ravagers in there.
No, you're right. I think it's necessary, but it is quite different compared to when you see Ravagers versus tanks, or if the tanks you're able to get close to the Ravagers, the Ravagers can get close to the tanks at all. They just shoot them down immediately.
Yeah, I need to point out what we're seeing here from Fantasy. I'm really liking this. It looks like he's going to go into BCs. I'd be very surprised if that was for Liberator range. So I think we'll see BCs here. And that's a very interesting shift from what we've seen, like, for instance, from Special, right? Ooh, nice. Picks off a couple of screens. But let's see if he starts some BCs. I'm very excited about this, though.
Yeah, you know, we had people go right into BCs, and sometimes it worked, other times it didn't. But, you know, the presence of the BC early on, sometimes it was like this crazy hero unit that would just actually kill everything.
Yeah.
And instead, it seems like Fantasy has decided to Oh, we got a Nidus network, by the way, coming up here. But just before this actually picks up, it seems like Fantasy might be trying to navigate this into a more gradual developed tech here with BCs later on.
Okay, it is actually Liberator range, so never mind about that. But and I've seen him do this before, Liberator range with Battle Mech. He did it last season some against Lena and someone else. Anyways, it looks like this Nidus will be shut down for now. A very interesting composition that Fantasy's going for, something that no one else really does, and that's kind of his MO.
Yeah, Fantasy always playing by his own book here. Again, this Nidus is not going to do anything, although I wouldn't be surprised if we see continued attempts to get Nidus network set up somewhere. This keeps Terran busy back at home, but
it's so
cheap.
With
the only thing is that I don't know that Terran is that worried about pushing out immediately, you know. I guess as we hit the max out point, he might try to come out here, but RagnaroK continuing to grow and gobble up the map. His creep spread is not actually that extraordinary, considering that it wasn't like Terran was the most active ever on the map.
I think it's not terrible, but yeah, it could be further along, there's no question. And that's something that's important against any composition that you're playing against. Okay, so RagnaroK's starting to push the map a little bit, continuing heavily on upgrades, continuing to pop up Niduses in various places. That's kind of interesting, the way that he's using his Niduses right now. It looks like he might actually be using some of them defensively.
Yeah.
From StarCraft 1-esque, if that's the case, because it takes a long time to walk up to this base, so you can just pop out some units.
The Nidus network in StarCraft 1 was almost exclusively used as a way to have your army in 2 locations at once, but almost always for defensive purposes.
Yeah.
But you know, Blizzard, I think, adjusted the Nidus network to be actually more exciting here in StarCraft 2 is a way for Zerg to actually, pounce with a giant army somewhere else on the map without just having to use a bunch of overlords for drop here. Instead, you can actually unload an entire army, traffic that through the map.
This is funny watching.
Look at this.
Try to kill
These things
stuff.
are just terrible against air. Look at this.
You remember when they first came out and they did so much damage against air that literally we had games where Maru only made Liberators?
So,
they killed like all the Corruptors after killing the whole ground army.
I better get out of here. It's going to be 60 more missiles and then I'm dead.
Okay, so a lot of factories being added, command centers as well. Both sides kind of filling out their tech a bit.
Yeah, harpooning here on the Liberators. Hydra sniped that down.
Kind of nice. Very good abducts so far.
We didn't really get to see the takes come into play here until the very end, and Zerg immediately just pulls away before that fight can even happen.
Yeah. Oh, does he continue to move forward? Yeah, it looks like he does.
Hey, great corrosive vials. That's going to take out 2 of those Liberators right there.
Continue to make lots of Hydras here. He's going to have to refill the energy immediately upon those Vipers. Definitely a very important unit to go with the Hydras in a composition like this.
So far, Fantasy hasn't made much of a splash here on the map with his mech, even though he's at the point supply-wise where he's, the goal is no longer to try to turtle out. It's to try to pick fights and see if you can't seize control of the few no man's land expansions on the map, because it was pretty clear that you can cut this map in half diagonally.
You see this? Do you see what I see?
Yeah, look at that. StarCraft 1 play.
That's amazing.
Pops in,
that
pops
was
out.
super cool. Super cool stuff. Really, and I mean, the thing is, the map is making it hard for him to run there. A lot of times, Zerg can just run anywhere when they have that creep spread.
RagnaroK's so sick.
Oh, my God. Yeah, really nicely done.
Damn. Look at that.
I love it. He's gaining lots of value with all of these moves. It's a little bit less efficient as he sits here and fights a planetary and all these units.
Look at this.
Okay.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
And then he just runs away.
Well, I think he's going to end up losing a bit here, but as long as he's being efficient, and it seems like Fantasy's supply is dropping a little bit lower over time and not coming up all that quickly.
Yeah, well, the Zerg also has as far as minerals go, a higher disposable income, but you can kind of balance that out with a low gas amount. We want to watch and see how many more Liberators and tanks are picked up, because that's a pretty gas-intensive thing. Where if that starts to thin out, then you're kind of stuck making stuff like Hellions, Doesn't really do as much in the super late game. It's what we'd call a mineral dump. You have the minerals, so you're trying to just throw them somewhere and then try to get some value out of it later on.
So making quite a few Vikings at the moment, along with Cyclones. Fantasy not really gaining ground anywhere.
No, not really.
With these Broodlords on the way, all these Vipers still out there, a good set of Hydras still as well. Getting a bit nervous for him. I don't know that he's really achieved what he needed, and he hasn't transitioned. You know, you can go battle mech for some time and then switch over into a higher tech comp, and I guess he did in a way with the Liberators. But is this going to beat a Broodlord tech? I don't think so.
Yeah, and if it is the Broodlord tech, is it going to be too late? I don't know. Hold on.
I mean, the Broodlord tech is just good in general. Yeah, he's making some Vikings as like a counterplay to that. But I look at his army, even when it's like maxed out, or it's not maxed out, and it looks like a bunch of mid-game units trying to be late-game units.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, the Broodlords are going to come down here and tear apart this expansion. The thing is, as far as, you know, both sides giving up locations, because 12 o'clock is taking a lot of damage, just now goes down. It looks like Zerg's already moved into the bottom left, and the Broodlords can actually roam towards the upper right, get a kill. The Cyclone Hellion army is not going to kill everything. This is going to be chased away easy peasy.
Yeah.
Hydras are just so strong on creep.
Yeah, they certainly are.
Now, this is the big moment, is, you know, when you get those Broodlords isolated, well, then they're all going to get killed off. Actually, not if he puts a Nidus right underneath this and pops a bunch of Hydras out on top of it, if that's the game plan that he's going for.
Look at this, so the Cyclone's gaining a little bit right there. Okay, good abducts, though.
Oh, wow,
Proctor's
he
going to buy enough time.
Great play.
Oh, does he have anything to come out there?
Yeah, he just, no, that's just a Nidus Storm coming up from the ground, trying to see what was going on in this game. I heard RagnaroK's playing, just gets killed.
Okay, looks like these Broodlords are not having a happy ending here. They're all going to fall, it seems. And
yeah, but I think with the damage that RagnaroK did, he's probably fine with this.
These constant Niduses I really love.
Yeah.
Like, we don't see anything there, but what if he did pop units out there? Suddenly a bunch of Hydras pop out and flank, and he's doing this all mid-battle.
Well,
super cool stuff.
Not to mention, as far as you know, structures on the map, Terran has no position at all here. In fact, he's floating buildings to try to reclaim the, I guess you call it the 3 o'clock bases over there.
Well, he's trying to pick off some more bases. Obviously something very important for him to do.
Okay, good play.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a little win he needed to have there.
Seems like he doesn't, yeah. It's hard to respond quickly enough because these lock-ons deal so much damage. So he's clearing quite a few bases. Look at this. RagnaroK's down to 4 bases and very low on minerals on them overall, whereas Fantasy has retaken. Wow, well, what an interesting play he's doing with this composition. Like, just running around, sniping things. It felt like well, it feels for sure like it can't win a straight-up battle, but that's not what he's going for, so who cares?
Okay. Chases that away. Now, the Broodlord army's up, and this is where, you know, Zerg can basically fight, and Terran either has to give up and run, or you know, try to do some kind of run around. But I think part of the game plan here from RagnaroK might just be to go from location to location, kill everything else that Terran has, because I don't think that Zerg has to try to expand anymore. I think you can actually try to end the game, right?
Well,
he's going to give this up.
Like, it seems like Fantasy is just kind of killing everything, and yeah, he's losing some bases. But if RagnaroK has no bank, and Fantasy's still mining some...
Yeah, this is so weird. So the one expansion that Fantasy has that's mining is the center right? Everything else is mined out for Fantasy, though.
Yeah,
they're both actually...
Well, both of them are barely mining
no
at this
income
point.
here, yeah. Thing is, I think that the Zerg army
RagnaroK truly
out more
doesn't.
kills. Wow, RagnaroK has 17 workers to 47 SCVs.
Yeah, almost no bank here also. Oh, no. Oh, that would have been...
Oh, my God.
Wow, yeah,
wow.
no, that was a good moment.
Now...
It was 5 of his remaining 17 drones.
With 6 o'clock gone for Terran, can Zerg simply, even with inferior supply, move a Death Ball army towards either the main or the center right?
Well, as long as Fantasy is on the map,
yeah,
I don't think he can, because this will kill buildings more quickly than RagnaroK
I
can.
think you're right, Artosis.
I think you have to get a battle as RagnaroK. If you can defeat his entire army, that can be a victory. But if Fantasy runs around you and kills all your extractors and stuff like that, you know, like just gets rid of your buildings, that's the true win condition.
Yeah, this is a way a lot of Broodlord players lose, is that they have this army, and, you know, there's nothing that makes the Terran have to fight that. You could basically run around it, kill off everything, and then try to run back. There's a whole art form to trying to move a Broodlord army around the map and get into the right spots. And this is a moment where I don't know if we're seeing the very best of that. Taking a lot of damage here. These Vikings really hurting. Damn. Lots of damage done there. That actually was pretty huge there from RagnaroK. I thought there were a lot more Broodlords are going to be picked off.
I did too when the anti-armor missile came down and everything.
Yeah. Now, here we are. Terran's going to have to try to hold this spot. But, you know,
pretty decent split there.
Yeah, he's kind of chewing his way through this.
Fantasy's still mining, though. See, I mean, RagnaroK's doing a good job. This is what he has to try to win this game, is to get that full-on engagement.
We may see an incredibly technical victory here from RagnaroK. If he's patient enough, he could do this. I mean, it's a long shot.
Yeah.
But it is not impossible.
The thing is, Fantasy still has some income, so there are some more units coming out, whereas with RagnaroK, really not.
It's too bad. One isolated Viper, excuse me.
Well, everything's on move command, so it's fine. I spoke too soon.
Okay, so there's nothing back at home here. In fact, it's 7 workers to 14.
Ooh!
Okay,
look at
great
these
catch. You know, Vikings are very slow. In fact, he could even try to get this command center here. No, he wants to come up.
There's a slight chance of a draw in this game, I do want to point out.
Yep.
He does not have a Corruptor. So, like, if it gets super weird, it's possible.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case.
Cyclones are coming underneath here.
Oh, here come those Vikings, though. Look at this.
Oh, my God. This game is so crazy. There it is, GG.
You should call him Flank-to-See.
Flank-to-See. Wow, Flank-to-See. By the way, we got to have a game on Thunderbird. Yay!
It was good. I liked it. It was interesting with the Niduses to kind of defend those very side bases that he hadn't mined through.
Yeah.
I think that was part RagnaroK, part the map, but I'm excited to see more of it.
But Fantasy comes out on top. You can see RagnaroK had this army that was really hard to deal with. And so, you know what? Fantasy didn't deal with it. He kept counterattacking, he kept hitting bases, he kept maneuvering around. And even though there was this really cool approach where RagnaroK would spring Nidus networks just in the middle of the map sometimes, he managed to get that lead, and RagnaroK in one last-ditch attempt tried to push through the entire map and kill it. Fantasy got tanks in his main and had one base mining in the upper right. He took out the Broodlords, he took out the Hydras, and he won game 1 on that.
It was a really well-played game. Very much enjoyed that. All right, King's Cove, map number 2. A little bit more straightforward this map.
All right, let's go to game 2 on a map that we are very, very used to, unlike
게임이
Thunderbird.
시작됩니다.
Storm Gaming, RagnaroK.
I can't stop thinking about Flank-to-See.
Yeah.
You know that song, Hey Baby, You're My Ecstasy?
You're my, yeah.
I keep singing that in my head. You're my Flank-to-See.
Player 1, Fantasy.
By the way, the winner of this match will face off against Hurricane.
Yeah, that should be a pretty good match. I think RagnaroK versus Hurricane is probably something I'm a little bit more excited to see than Fantasy again against him.
How dare you?
I know. I'm terrible. I'm a bad person.
We're supposed to let our bias come out.
My bias is coming out. RagnaroK might become my new Leenock. I don't know. We're gonna wait and see.
You're going to have this tragic relationship with him as a caster. You think he might be the one to take it, and he doesn't do it.
Don't know yet.
Is he your rebound from Leenock, basically?
Oh, I still love
You need to go into therapy,
or
Artosis. You just keep finding these Zerg players and falling in love, okay? And saying they can change and they can win GSLs, and then your heart gets broken.
I know.
You know?
This nerd turns 30 next week.
Oh!
20+ years.
The dirty
Happy
30.
birthday!
Happy birthday. The dirty 30. Listen, guys.
30, is that what that's called?
That's what the dirty 30, man. 30s, by the way, better than 20s. For those of you younger people watching, it's so much better.
Right now, I'm half the way to 72. I'm so happy.
I'm just excited to die, everybody. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Oh,
something about Flank-to-See, I
was talking about how you just fall for these Zerg players and get hurt.
Oh, yeah, no, I do.
You know,
sometimes I do.
I'm like, why don't you go find a nice Terran player and settle down? You know?
Oh, I did a long time ago. TY.
I got my Protoss player.
But
It's SOS.
Me and TY have an open fan relationship.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where I'm allowed to like macro zergs as well.
Okay. You're allowed to see other macro zergs as long as he knows about it. Here comes that Reaper into the main. We saw that very cool mech style. We thought it might have been battle cruisers in the first game with Fantasy and RagnaroK, and then it turned out to be Liberators.
Yeah. He really has his own take.
The Liberators are actually the least impactful part of that entire build, by the way. They were all shot out of the sky
it was interesting.
pretty quickly, but it was actually the Hellion Cyclone play that won the end game, which is not normally what wins the end game in mech. Normally that's just sort of this placeholder for aggression and harass.
You can tell that his battle mech play has gotten stronger because we did see it before. But yeah, I mean, most of the mechs that I've really thought were showing some great plays had some amount of Cyclone Hellion, but were eventually transitioned.
Correct.
Wow. That Reaper.
Yeah. It's a badass dude, that Reaper. I feel like that's the opening scene for that Reaper to be in a movie. Like, wow, this Reaper means business.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Thought you'd forget about me?
Look at that.
Oh, my God.
He's going to get it.
He's going to get it! Please! Oh!
No way.
Oh, wow. All right, we've already built the
you got to dive
the protagonist and the antagonist here. Oh, no, this is a 90s action film. Never mind. He's going to beat everybody up right away.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Okay, he did finally get that other queen.
The Reaper and his army of Hellions continues to rain terror on the map. Roach
How do you know that the Reaper's in charge of the Hellions?
Oh, he's for sure in charge. What is
maybe
it?
those 4 Hellions are all best friends and they're in charge of the Reaper.
This is one Hellion in the back. He's the leader, and the Reaper's just the oddball here.
No, they're all equals, except for the Reaper.
I can't believe how much damage it did back there.
Yeah,
Not that often we get to see that happen like that.
Okay, so an armory's on the way. Cloak, a lot of Hellions. I think it is going to be mech. Seems pretty obvious at this point. But just the Hellbats by themselves are going to be very, very scary.
Oh, no.
Look at that Reaper. He is the boss. He's so lazy he didn't even attack the
Good.
Ash.
Continue to destroy these eggs. Let's see if those queens are here.
Clearing out some Overlords here with the Vikings. Look at that, 2 Vikings.
Gosh, Fantasy has such unique playstyle here.
Hero.
You heard I just called him Hero? I think it's what they called
what in the world?
The Reaper Hero, I think is where it came from. I thought, wow, am I just thinking he plays like the player Hero? A different race?
He definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
Just to make that clear for everyone.
Nidus.
Oh. Speed Banshees.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, great cleanup there.
Well, at least he knows for sure it's mech.
Now, in kind of an odd turn of events, there's a chance that because all the mech is moving out on the map, I think the Nidus might be able to set up inside the main without any pushback.
It's funny, too, because he had 2 Vikings, and they didn't find that one Overlord. So there's one Overlord just sitting in the back, and he thinks he's safe because he kind of swept around with the 2 Vikings. It's always the one you miss that causes all the trouble. Well, it wouldn't be the ones you caught because they're dead.
It's starting now. Hold on, do we have Fantasy reacting? I don't think Fantasy even sees this. He's macroing. He's like, now is a good time to switch add-ons.
It's not.
He has no idea.
That's scary.
Oh, boy. Oh, second Nidus. Oh,
blocks
sick.
It. He's going to be able to make Cyclones out of that Nidus.
You're so funny.
Is anything even coming out of it?
Yeah.
It's just a blocker.
Yeah. The Nidus can finally do its job as a body blocker.
It's an offensive Nidus. Yeah, that's what it's always wanted to do.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, well, that's it. We'll be going into Game 3 now. This game is...
But there's 2 Cloak Banshees here and no Overseer.
Yeah, you're right. It's absolutely still a game of chance. All right, well, Fantasy, do what you do best, man.
Yes, 2 factories and 2 factories in construction.
GG.
Okay.
RagnaroK pulling the rug out from under Fantasy in Game 2.
Yeah.
I like it. By the way, that's the kind of play we would see from RagnaroK years ago.
Oh, it was well chosen to go right there, though. And I think that it was completely reactive to not lose the Overlord. There's no way you would have tried it otherwise. In Fantasy, you know, that's a rough game to lose because he was doing very well. And if he had caught that Overlord, this game goes on for a very long time.
That's right.
So that's a heartbreaking loss. And if he gets eliminated, he's going to be thinking about that one.
Man, Fantasy he had vision of that too. He just completely missed it. Happens to everybody, unfortunately. You do not want that to happen in a GSL match. I mean, you know, in some ways, RagnaroK kind of got the free win. Also,
it was
losing those lings, ironically, you know, normally that's a disaster to lose that many lings early on to all those Hellions. Actually made Fantasy feel so confident moving out on the map, he had nothing to defend when the Nidus popped out.
Yeah, very true. Okay, so Cobalt. Remember when we used to be excited to see Cobalt?
Yeah.
No, now it's all about Thunderbird.
That's right. That's like back when people had pagers or Tosis.
Yeah.
Okay. A bunch of young people watching this don't even know what pagers are. All right. We are going to go into game 2.
Pagers are people that like pages.
Exactly. What is that? People that read books? Pagers?
Yeah.
Storm Gaming, RagnaroK.
So we got the close by air spawns. It's a 4-player map, our only 4-player map.
That's right.
Player 1, Fantasy.
Not sure what to expect. We haven't seen too many games here. Obviously, if Fantasy wants to go for something like Banshees, he's got that close by air path. There's also that island there.
Yeah.
And if he does go air, I mean, maybe there's a possibility he can take that island.
It's trickier to take islands in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, it's tricky.
You know, one thing about
it pretty easily, right?
You know, we've been casting both StarCraft 2 and StarCraft 1 guys. We're casting KSL actually tomorrow and the day after. But you know, one thing about StarCraft 2 is you start with so many more workers, the game speeds up better, which I think is actually better for TV. StarCraft 1, it starts out pretty slow.
Yeah.
You kind of slog through the early game, but it also means that you end up with so much tech and such an army, oftentimes an air army. It's hard to kind of just snag an island without also being exposed.
Yeah.
To one of your other expansions.
Hey, did you see what's below this map? This is like the city in Fifth Element.
Oh yeah.
See that?
There's Bruce Willis down there. And that orange-haired girl. That movie's it's like a classic, but it's kind of dumb. He's like, oh, there's a Fifth Element. It's like, well, there's a lot more than that, actually. I don't know what you mean.
I'm going to talk with Mr. Che about replacing you with Rapid, someone who actually loves that movie like he should and like everyone should. That's like the greatest movie ever.
The Fifth Element?
It's one of, yeah.
How dare you? We used to make so much fun of that movie back in the day in our old cast. About? How dare you? It's
it's
all
a funny
on
movie.
The record.
They're inside of me.
They're inside of me. You mean the stones are literally in you? Okay, well, that's a good thing I don't get metaphors. Let me just dig into your dead corpse and get the stones out.
Why would you have a surgery to put those stones inside your body? That is a great movie.
Yeah, you wake up and she's like, oh, I got to sing. I better be careful using my diaphragm because I've got ancient stones inside my body.
Maybe that's why her voice sounds so good.
That's true. That could be it, you know.
You ever think of that? And here's the other part. What if she had, what is her name, Lilu?
Lilu, I'm not sure.
What if she had Lilu sewn inside her body too? Then could she just go to the temple and do it all herself?
Wasn't there some kind of a plot hole thing in that as well? Is that the main villain never actually interacted? What was the main villain's name? The guy that works for
Half Bald, I think.
Zorp or whatever.
Yeah,
no, but
something like that.
Half Bald or whatever his name is has some kind of. He's got some problem going on with a guy who's like a glowy sun thing or something.
Yeah, that's the evil thing itself.
Yeah, evil thing, like dark voice guy or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm mad at you, Half Bald. I'm gonna make your nose bleed. And he's like, oh man.
Yeah, don't mess with
worse than that.
Don't mess with that thing.
I'm out of toilet paper.
It's very dark.
I got to go back and watch that movie. I think I
watched it again recently. It was just so good. Yeah.
I feel like that's actually a movie that would get better with age. I'd probably enjoy it more. Okay, so we got another attack coming in here. Once again, the Reaper and the 4 Hellions.
Oh God,
the
the
Death
back.
Squad taking names.
The Reaper with his Hellboys.
Yeah. And this time around, a very quick Banshee with Cloak.
He's going to find the Overlords this time.
Oh, he's going to see it.
Well, everyone always has that thing blinking. That could be a little.
Yeah, actually, it's so commonplace to have that upgrade going and then cancel anyways.
That thing, yeah. Well, seems like it's just a pretty economic game so far. Some harassment units out. The 3rd Command Center on the way. Not sure exactly what's going to get done. The creep spread looking pretty strong so far. Layer about to finish.
Roaches, more of them coming out now. I don't think we're going to have any early Nidus play this time around. It's kind of a thing you throw out in a best of 3.
Yeah.
To get them. Nidus play, like aggro Nidus play, basically never works 2 times in a row.
No, it
because
should.
you know the player's head is supposed to be in other places.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like Mech here for Fantasy once again, going for that Banshee speed right now. I love that he just doesn't go bio.
Yeah, he's sticking to this, man.
Yeah. I love styles like this. What do you think about those roaches in the center, Tasis?
I really like them, Artosis.
Yeah, they're pretty cool right there, aren't they?
But what about these Hellions where the minerals are?
Where the roaches wish they were over here now.
Yeah. That's why you don't normally see them in the middle of the map.
You know what's funny? Is unless you're cross spawns, that watchtower doesn't have the most power.
We used to have a lot of maps that were like this, where the map was so big and there'd be a watchtower there, but it was possibly the least impactful watchtower that you could have in a game. What would you think about them having a watchtower that gave way more vision?
Way more vision? I think that's a pretty terrible idea, but
even for a map like this?
The thing is, they're like win more, right? If you have map control and then you have the watchtower, it makes your map control more strong.
Even if you made them, just for devil's advocate purposes, even if you made them like really hard to control somehow, or there was some kind
like
of
lava, the floor is lava or something.
Yeah, every
like
10
that.
minutes lava comes up.
Oh, I'm
It's a
down for
campaign.
that. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Anything that will make pro gamers want to veto it, I am down for.
How long will we have to have StarCraft 2 out to have maps where lava comes up on the ground every so often? That could make for some good TV, Artosis.
It really could.
The lava's coming, everybody. Our hype casting
Alarms
gets so much
go
better.
off.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Lava's coming up for no reason. It makes no sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Our GSL Rapture season would have been the perfect one for
that. Lava themed.
We really missed it.
Yeah. It's too late now. Well, basically the Terran could stay back, use the Banshees to harass and hit different areas. Seems like there's not really more than 2 spots you can hit with Banshees, though, in these kinds of spawns. It's funny because initially you'd look at that and think, oh, okay, well that's easy access to both the main as well as this this rim of minerals just over the vacant area on the map. But actually, it's kind of hard to get around with the Banshees towards the upper right side of the Zerg's base, even with speed.
But eventually, doesn't RagnaroK have to expand to the top right, and then maybe the Banshees become strong again?
Perhaps. Yeah,
right?
That's a good point.
If you don't lose them before that.
You know, Heroes of the Storm, Artosis?
Yeah.
Try Hosts of the Swarm.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He is going to come out now with a lot of them. But Banshees are fast!
Yeah, they're pretty good against these.
We're fast and invisible. Oof.
All right. Well, knocking down the rocks, getting ready to start using these swarm hosts a bit. Oh, those Banshees are really annoying. Look at that.
It's actually crazy how much damage they can do. They really can kind of go uncontested. Even Queen's on creep, scrambling to try to drive them away.
Yeah. Well, when they get close, these Hell Muffins are going to go to work.
It looks like he can park right over where that, you know, like a 3rd base could be taken here. Or sorry, 4th base actually could be taken, and just start to fly in and do damage from there. Maybe carving away at the main base here. Problem is with Banshees with speed, you need to get enough creep over here to where they can actually come up here and help fight. You know, right now there's actually just no anti-air. Ravagers do not count as anti-air against speed Banshees.
No, certainly not. You're never going to hit anything. But look at this. Like, I mean, I guess you can sit and fight those, but this composition is very funny. He's got all these queens. Yeah, he's pushing the creep up. I think the whole plan is to just launch Locust Wave after Locust Wave, but it seems hard to kill people with that nowadays.
Well, it also seems like we're getting to the point where if he doesn't start to get to do that now, it's not going to happen. And, you know, even though they're kind of close and that they're both sharing the bottom, they're actually pretty far from each other as far as walking distance. And even though it's the Swarm hosts that are fast at walking on the ground, they can't really control an area until they actually get queens over there to help them cover.
Wow, the Banshee's getting so much work done. Look at that. So few queens left over here.
Okay, but now the Locusts are actually in range. Now, with all these tanks clumped up, okay, Hellbats in formation here. Wow.
Well, that was a good set of Locusts. Finally, we see some actual value coming out of that, but he did lose a lot to be able to do that. Not sure how many times he's going to be able to do that because the Banshees are still floating around, still being produced as well. Yeah, he's actually pushing some spores up. Oh, I like that. I like that.
I still can't figure out if this is going to work or not. I mean,
yeah,
he's close enough, right? But you know, Terran eventually outgrows this. It's not normally when, you know, the Terran is almost maxed out and the Locusts start to hit that this means it's going to work, right? Normally, it's you hit kind of before the Terran is really cemented, the macro engine.
Yeah.
Before they really have like a lot of production coming out, and he can basically target down these tanks. I mean, that's the target here. That's the goal, is to kill the tanks, because then there's nothing long range enough to really punish the Zerg. I mean, yeah, Cyclones, you know, they have an excellent cooldown range attack, but you can always outlast that.
Rebellion's trying to get out on the map. Probably hoping to draw the attention of RagnaroK away. More spores continuing to come up. Just waiting for that next Locust Swarm. Fantasy's got to do something more than this. You can't just send 5 Hellions on the map and that's your answer.
Here come the Banshees now. Again, one spore is usually enough to drive away these Banshees. Meanwhile, these Hellions come in here, and there is nothing to defend these workers.
Yeah, single queen here. Roaches are running in, but look at this, a lot more damage over on the other side. 2-3 Siege Tanks, Cyclone, Hellbat, Depot.
So this expansion up here, this one in the upper left, it's going to be hard for the Swarm host to really get to it, but the Roaches are enough. He can make it a little bit more difficult. Also, one thing about this map too is that the split in bases from top to bottom, there's no like base that fills that area in. So it's actually very hard for Terran to hold this in long, drawn-out games.
It's kind of interesting how it's like 4 distinct segments.
Yeah, this map is very clearly cut into quadrants. And I guess the islands are sort of shared, but you get the picture here.
Look at this. He's bashing in with these Swarm hosts. Doing a great job.
I think he basically won this this game, RagnaroK did.
Seems pretty over. Fantasy does have some decent mining still going on, so trying to hold on, but like, how do you deal with this set of units? He's making more and more siege tanks, but as soon as the Locusts come up, that has been a great counter thus far. He doesn't really have anything to shoot the Locusts out of the air. Doesn't really have Hellbats to soak up the shots anymore either.
Very quiet counterattacks from from Fantasy that aren't really doing anything. And I mean, with the inside of the base about to be completely destroyed here, I think we basically have RagnaroK as our winner. I don't know how long Fantasy is going to hang on. I mean, he has, out of all the players currently in GSL Codex, he basically stays in games the longest, but I mean, you guys see this game like I do. I don't know what on earth he can do to try to recover here.
Seems quite difficult. Just the Stormhouse count is not going down. The Banshees have done a lot. They have killed a lot, but they can't do it alone. Well, goodbye, Siege Tank. Barely knew you. You can really target anything with these. Yeah, see that?
Yeah.
Just start targeting things, because every time you're doing more damage than he can replace, really.
Yeah, well, that's the crazy thing about when you have enough of these Locusts, is that the damage is just incredible.
He's going to try to finish him off here.
It's one of the reasons why, you know, normally you have to hit at a very specific time with Swarm hosts. I guess RagnaroK proved in this case it didn't have to be like that, but normally you kind of get enough that you snowball your way to a win. you kind of it's a game of tug of war, and you know either the Terran can eventually snipe all the swarm hosts or outgrow them and you can't do anything, or the Zerg cracks in and starts to eat through the defense initially, and then expansions and then infrastructure, and the game's over.
Looks like this base is going to be going down. Fantasy is expanding towards the top left, and I think he's making factories up there. But his income is starting to drop as he loses more bases. Oh, this could be good. All right, all right.
So he's driving those swarm hosts away. Yep, that's it. GG. RagnaroK takes that. That was going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Just,
Fantasy, he gets last in the group, around a 16. He hasn't been back for that long, and he's playing completely his own style. So I think it's a pretty good result for him overall, even though obviously disappointing.
I applaud his play style. I look forward to casting his games again in the future.
Yeah. And that means that either Hurricane or RagnaroK will be going to GSL Codes round of 8, which is a big deal for them.
Yeah.
Well, Fantasy's got to be bummed about that. We're still waiting for him to have his big break. Up next is Hurricane versus RagnaroK, and we're going to be going to that after this short break. Don't go away.
끝났습니다. 1사 대결 시작하겠습니다.
이거 분광기
맞아요.
잡았어도 아직 완전히 막은 게 아닙니다.
네.
보통은 이럴 때는 묵직하게 싸우는 게 좋거든요. 밤까마귀가 있을 때는.
그렇죠.
자, 그래서 이 양방향 작전이 실패한다면 기회는 바로 넘어갑니다.
근데 밤까마귀 대동에서 이쪽에 추적자를 싹 떠먹여주고 세시적 쪽에 자리 잡게 되면 프로토스의 조합도 테란보다 안 좋습니다. 이게 에너지가 50 정도 또 있지 않나요? 대장갑 한 방 더, 방해 매트릭스 한 방 더.
네.
한번 싸워볼만 하거든요?
근데 거신 하나가 바깥쪽에 나가서 먼저 정리된 게 좀 이거 좀 페인이 될 수 있겠는데요?
그래서 아마키사가 전차를 썰어주고 있는 것도 너무 좋지만 테란 입장에서 여기다 힘을 꽉 주고 있고 전차 하나가 거신을 녹일 수 있느냐입니다.
병력 내려야죠. 그리고 저기
이 한 방으로 뚫을 수 있느냐인데 지뢰가 거신
네,
머리에
지뢰가.
완벽하게 다 들어가는 거 말고는 없어요.
플래시 확!
근데 거신
여기서
한 방에
자, 밀어버리나요? 제이제 경기 좀 끝났어요. 2사 대결을 시작하겠습니다.
이거 벙커 때문에요.
불곰 킬러.
예, 하나씩 카운터인데 이게
보호막 충전소가 있으면 되는데
폭탄을 맞았으니
막타.
이전에는 이병영에서만 쥐어짰지만 이제부터 남는 자원은 테크가 되잖아요. 우주공항 지어지기 시작하면 뒤늦게 불곰 정리해도 안 되죠.
제이제 경기 좀 끝났습니다. 세 번째 대결을 시작하겠습니다.
까마귀가 사람만 있다면 근데 이거 지금 자극제 안 됐어요. 자극제 안 돼서 프로토스가
방패도 없어요.
밤까마귀 에너지 빼려고 들어온 겁니다. 여기서 한번 빼야 되는데
원래는 밤까마귀 에너지 뺄 겸 온 건데 보니까 테란의 병력도 뭔가 어설퍼 보여서 싸움을 더 한 번 건 거죠. 계속 이제 에너지 싸움이거든요. 밤까마귀 에너지를 어디서 뺄 거냐. 근데 프로토스도 여기서 판단 잘못하면 안 되는 게 퇴로가 좁아요. 너무 늦게 빠지면 뒤잡혀요.
방해 매트리스 들어갔어요?
이거 테란이 한번 타이밍을 잡으려고 했는데 프로토스가 실수를 좀 많이 하고 있거든요. 조합이 갖춰지고 결국에 밀리기 직전 타이밍에 덮치는 거예요.
전창 선수는 어차피 시간 지금 걸리게 된 거 이상 네, 전차 이거 한 번에 풀어서는 안 돼요. 하나하나씩 접었다 풀었다 하면서 이거 조금씩 전진해야 됩니다. 어차피 늦었어요.
거신 4기가 압박인데 공성모드 빠르게 해줘야죠. 공성모드 아직도 안 됐어요.
들어싸우네요.
공성모드가 거신을 싹 다 녹여야 됩니다.
네, 들어와서 전차 쪽으로 붙었습니다.
근데 화력이 진짜 안
와, 이거 긁어버리네요.
녹일 수가 없습니다.
침착하게 기다리면서 병력을 모은 김효진 선수가 전차부대 무너뜨리면서 승리 최종전으로 갑니다. 경기 준비 끝났습니다. 1사 대결을 시작하겠습니다.
근데 추적자를 계속 찍는 거 보게 되면 한시 지역 쪽에 몰래 멀티도 충분히 가능성이 있고요.
네.
지었나 본데요, 한시?
그렇죠. 말씀해주신 그대로
일부러 한 겁니다. 그래서 이건 벽을 타요?
근데
갑자기요?
이거 엄청 큰데요? 한시 지역 쪽에 수정탑도 없거든요. 그래서 병력 생산하면 손해밖에 못 봐요.
와,
여기서 변수가 후안 선수 시야 보니까 위치가 정확히 확인이 안 됐네요.
네.
본진 앞마당에.
생각을 못했어요.
놓쳤어요.
네, 인구수 200도
대장갑
채웠겠다.
미사일도 가능하고 뭐가 됐든 나오기만 하면 됩니다.
네.
거신.
여기
방인데 안 되면.
세기다. 네기 깡통 됐어요.
네.
투수 60 줄었습니다.
와.
이래서 메카니 상대로 거신이 좀 힘이 좀 부족한데 밤까마귀까지 있다 보니 더 안 되는 거죠.
그렇죠.
이거는 후안 선수의 압승이네요. 초반부터
치즈! 경기를 끝났습니다. 2사 대결을 시작하겠습니다. 내어서 올려요.
어마어마하게 과감한.
이걸?
띄우기.
알아요.
예언자 나오는 타이밍에 후안이 본진 쪽에 포탑까지 지을 수 있느냐입니다.
아이고. 이거 지금 난장판이 됐어요.
투하염차 본진 들어가.
들어갔어요.
이거 풍강 돌리기도 전에 망하겠는데요. 지뢰 나오고요. 추가 지뢰 나오고요. 추가 지뢰 나오고요.
이것 때문에 본진 자원 쓰고 못하면 지금 너무 가난해지.
추가 에너지를 썼어요.
둘 다 지금 다 나갔고 지금 은폐 벤신
본진 쪽에 연결체 에너지 귀환이 있느냐입니다. 귀환해서
은폐 아니어라.
예언자가 필사주가 동시에 다 돌아와야 되는데.
은폐 아니어라.
근데 이미 손해.
짜임새
위치에
있어요.
자극제돼서 들어가게 되면 탐사정 싹 다 잡습니다. 프로토스 빨리 와야 돼요. 벤시에 어그로 끌리면 안 됩니다.
들어가요.
일꾼 잡히고 막으면 의미 없어요.
그렇죠. 근데 이거 자극제되면 프로토스 병력 잡아먹는 테란 병력이거든요. 공유럽까지 돼서.
네, 자극됐어요.
자, 우주함은 병력까지 함께 와야 겨우 막습니다.
오늘 좀 움직임 보세요.
와, 진짜. 아니 근데 노력에 대해서 변현우 선수를 언급드리긴 했지만 플레이 스타일도 완전 변현우스러워요. 일꾼 무조건 지켜야 돼요.
저희 음영적 쪽에서
코코코코.
그리고 불사조 오면 불사조도 1.4로 잡힙니다.
결국 거신 화사마가 되는데.
그렇죠.
근데 거신이 여기 온 거 보면 정면 쪽 진출 병력이 바로 타이밍 또 잡죠.
네.
하나에는 그 묘수를 일단 한번 보여주면서 겨우 막은 거지. 이 다음에 또 비슷한 공격이 들어오거든요.
또 들어와요.
여기 추적자 없으면 거신 녹습니다.
네, 들어갈 불공이 많거든요.
그래서 잘 빠져야 되는데.
이거 거신이 쓰러지면 김유진 쓰러지거든요.
네, 가장 중요한 이 자원줄. 노력하는 후한 한국의 유학원이 몇 년째입니까? 드디어 GSL 16강에 올라가네. 후한이 올라갔어요.
늦었어요. 왼쪽. 왼쪽 정글이 늦어요.
오른쪽 쏘면 인구수 자체가 50 가까이 차이 날 수 있어요.
들어싸우나요?
째는 게 너무 완벽했기 때문에
생애 최초로 16강에 올라갑니다. 와, 진짜 신입어.
Round of 16.
It's my turn now.
GSL Season 2, Codex, Renaissance.
Welcome back. It's time for the final best of 3 in tonight's GSL Codes. We are about to wrap up Group A. We have 2 players who have, I guess, throughout all of GSL, we would not be saying these are, of course, round of 8 players. Hurricane and RagnaroK. These were like the extras of GSL. These were like in the old Star Trek show where they had to introduce one new character. you knew that guy was going to die at the end. That's what these guys were, because that's back when they didn't kill main characters. Well, now it's different. Either Hurricane or RagnaroK is going to get to the round of 8. We've seen a huge improvement, not just in the results as far as how far they get in GSLs. We've seen them playing better than ever before. So I'm excited for whoever moves on, but I'm also sad for the loser, because we've been casting these games, the games of these players, for a long time. And frankly, I'm fan of both of them now, man. They're looking really good.
Yeah, it's nice to see this rise, getting some new players up there. Cobalt, our first map. So very cool to see some of these new maps.
Cobb Alt, my friends. Okay, let's go to game 1 on our 4-player map. Hurricane versus RagnaroK.
Did you say Cobb Alt?
Cobb Alt.
Well, that would be ear.
Oh.
Hurricane. Storm Gaming, RagnaroK.
Whoa. Big support for RagnaroK here. There were people cheering for Hurricane, though.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad. Don't be sad.
All right. Well,
we have like every symbol here. There's
actually...
nuclear waste here. Don't do this.
Yeah.
Also, don't do this. Nuclear waste here.
It doesn't seem like every symbol, but 2 symbols everywhere.
I thought we might see some more.
Yeah.
We actually had the repair symbol earlier, but I missed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there it is. There it is. You can repair over here, but there's nuclear waste over there.
Can you land anything there? I don't think so, right?
Over here, there's an alarm going off. Don't expand here. Do not expand here. That's what that symbol means. Oh, you rebel.
Mistakes. This is so funny. 4-player maps.
Yep.
I'm all for 4-player maps, by the way.
I think as long as we keep mixing it up with maps, we're going to be in good shape.
Yeah. We don't need any more maps that look like Ohana, that's for sure.
Which means friendship or family. Sorry, I messed the meme up.
You are on top of the memes.
Oh, man.
Meme Lord tasteless here.
Now, as the game goes on here, what kind of tech are we going to have? We're going to go into Robo, get a timing attack? Are we going to have something older, like Stargate, get a couple oracles out here?
I think you got to go Stargate. Like,
yeah?
No, I guess he's not. He's getting his warp gate right away, so unsure. I think that, like, the map is pretty big. The map is pretty long. I don't feel like a timing attack is as likely to work. Yeah, something like this makes sense, though. Just Insta Twilight. This could be the DT-based Archon drop, or it could be like a Glaives or Charge all-in. I think both those are all right.
The Overlord's coming in now. Let's see if it scouts that.
Yeah, something like...
Did he see it? Did he see it? He did not.
He did not. It's crazy.
Damn, you know.
Yeah. Something like an Immortal Push, though. The problem I have with Immortal Push is, like, you're making your mortals and you're walking them across this long map. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe a DT-based Archon drop, then? Yeah. There we go.
Now, this is... It's an older style. That doesn't mean it's bad or it's obsolete. It's just something that we've definitely seen a good amount of.
I think it's actually pretty decent right now.
No, I think it's perfectly fine. I think there's a reason why it's still being used here. And so you can have it where you try to spring the DTs on them and get some quick damage that way. But you also have the option to just go into Archons.
Yeah.
You know, if you've watched GSL's past, you've heard this before. But, you know, the Archon drop is definitely something that is a really strong way to play the game. By the way, Zealot Legs coming here as well. If you're to do an Archon drop, Archons are almost entirely shields. Warp Prism pickup distance is huge. And it's not the hardest thing to do to fly around with a Warp Prism, shave off Zerg units, and as long as you don't lose the Archons or the Warp Prism, you've lost nothing.
Yeah. We've seen some real cost efficiency with that.
But I think Zerg players have really adapted to this. They've gotten much better than we've seen in the past about trying to hold off certain attacks, especially ones like this. But build order randomization, if you're going to go big picture, it's important that you're not doing the same thing every time, or people will simply counter you. You can experience this on the ladder when you encounter the same guy and he really only has one trick, and you keep seeing him do the same thing, and after a couple games, you're never going to lose to that guy again because he can't mix it up. It's even more pronounced in best of threes and tournament plays, especially if you're a prominent enough pro gamer that your games are out there and studied. So I think it's a good idea to bring a build like this, at least to start things off. And here come the 2 DTs now.
Look at that, going after the Spore immediately after a couple drone kills.
Yeah, and the Spore actually
so
goes
annoying.
down, so he can get several more drones. Now the Overseer is going to come up. In fact, can he even get the Queen here? No, probably not. That's too ambitious.
But it's good damage. Look at this, between the 2 Adepts and these 2 DTs, it's a Spore kill, a few Lings, and 11 drones.
Yeah,
really
and it went unpunished. So he's going to warp in a few more units here. We're going to turn this into an Archon. And this is where, okay, so the initial damage has been done. Now comes the follow-up push. Zerg's put in a position where they need to rebuild economically from their losses. If they were to keep making an army, Protoss should outpace them, especially if you have that many workers killed. So this is where Protoss continues the harass, but there is going to be a push, which is an attempt to throw the Zerg off of the balancing act.
Some Immortals are being made here. Oh, look at that. The Zealots actually do go down and engage some Lings.
This is really cute. It's like he kind of has some Zealots out there to fight in the front, but then he kind of has some Warpins over here.
Yeah.
And it seems like
really well.
it's really spreading the Protoss too thin. Now, of course, he does not manage to keep the Archon alive. One is alive, but like barely. Go. And so the harass is going to end, but that was an unusual split with armies in that harass.
Yeah.
Now, Zerg survives it. The question now is RagnaroK back on his feet? Are there going to be other opportunities? Because I said it was going to be a follow-up push to do more damage. It's not. It's actually a third base. He's going to play much more conservatively.
Well, there is definitely a follow-up push coming when you open up with the
just not on 2 bases.
drop. Yeah. A lot of times, I think what the strongest follow-up is to make a lot of Immortals, Archons charge lots, and your third base, and then just move out again.
Yeah.
And just like keep pressure on your opponent, because this is a build where it's a little bit harder to get into Psy Storm cleanly. So keeping the pressure on your opponent is good.
And a lot of that's because it was a DT tech to get the Archons out.
Yeah. You already kind of have the Archon tech, and to spend even more gas to get the high Templar attack.
The DT tech is kind of a quick shortcut to get Archons.
Yeah, it is.
Where you're getting something early on, which is like kind of cheaper Archons, but you're also giving up late game tech, which is DTs. And so in this case, the follow-up push is the most sensible one. So it's going to be 3 bases. I thought it was going to be 2 for some reason. But
well, it's mostly I mean, it's mostly a placeholder for Nexus. It's not fully saturated or anything.
It's like you're taking it not for like, oh well, now
he'll keep playing.
Expand. You just
this is definitely not all in. Like,
well, a lot of games are won when you did so much damage, but they barely survived. But you did so much damage with your third base, you just kind of take a lead from there.
Yeah. Some very good force fields going down. He actually clears quite a few roaches there. We saw him lose an Archon, take a couple Biles here, losing some of his sentries. A couple Biles actually connecting.
Landing right on the Immortals, but I think this is too much damage. We're starting to see too many Archons, too many Immortals, and not enough anything Zerg here. He can actually edge his way into the third base. Can he actually snipe down the Warp Prism? Here we go!
Wow!
Oh,
wow! He had to commit so hard because it was a beautiful warp
right
location.
there. GG, Hurricane takes game 1. Crazy.
It was a great, I didn't even realize for a second there, he had to get so close because it was over the smoke, so he just could not see it.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Good call.
Yeah, so he actually super committed to kill it, didn't get it, and that's GG.
Look at that face on RagnaroK. That's
yeah, it's a frustrating one to just die to the follow-up push.
Yeah.
I mean, Hurricane played it very, very well. It seems like if you just do straight Immortal pushes, RagnaroK has your number a bit, but some of these harassment into it, that does a little bit more to conceal exactly when you're moving out, exactly the strength of your army. He's having a bit of a harder time there.
We're going to go to New Repugnancy for game number 2. Now, Hurricane opened up with a little bit of an older style. Obviously, it's still viable. DT dropped, killed about 11 drones. I think it was exactly 11, actually. And then went into Archon Harass. It wasn't the best Archon Harass, but it also didn't matter that much because already that initial attack had done so much. Then he wins with a push. Let's see what he does in game number 2. RagnaroK showing very solid late game style. If he can get to that late game, he might be a real threat to Hurricane.
Hurricane. Storm Gaming, RagnaroK.
Cool.
Cool. So the probes blocked the second hatchery. So the second hatch goes to where the third hatch normally is. Common way to just sort of take some control early on.
It's very annoying for Zerg.
Yeah. I don't know if there's going to be some kind of attack to pair with this. I know that Adepts early on were exploited for situations like this where your creep's not quite defended, but I feel like Zergs, especially in 2019, are much better at handling Adepts. The Adept was sort of this unit that was great for comedy in RTS when it first came out because there was no unit that moved like that in RTS. So
yeah, it
it's
was
like
very novel.
On both sides, players were struggling with it. You'd see some players shade their Adepts into corners and they get stuck and killed, and then other times Zerg couldn't split correctly. So there was this whole learning process for all the pros involved of trying to kind of get a handle on it. But also the Adept was stronger. Blizzard patched it after a while. But
yeah, it got a few nerfs.
Yeah, because it was actually...
It was pretty crazy.
It was pretty hilarious.
They were just making it and killing people.
I remember casting a game of... the one game I thought someone was going to survive in Adept Harass, and it was Morrow, and he was playing like the game of his life, holding these Adepts everywhere. And I said, okay, he did it. It's done. We're going to go into mid-game. And then like 50 Adepts shade up. As I'm saying it, I start laughing.
Yeah.
As I'm like, okay, never mind. Couldn't believe it.
Remember that.
But yeah, it's a different time now. There is a robo being made, though, so that should telegraph some kind of a timing attack here.
Yeah, it looks like just straight up an Immortal push should be coming. Oh, extra lings being made. I was wondering, like, what are
the Korean commentators are going nuts, and I'm like, yeah, I see the robo. But
I'm like, yeah, he's chasing the probe with the lings. It's cool. Oh, he can't quite get in. Good try.
Good job. He needs to get this wall in, though. Speedlings are a real threat.
A lot of
Speedlings are also, uncommon at this level of play to try to just go for it. But, if the wall-in's not up, there's a reason why you see Protoss wall-in early, guys, is they're actually pretty frail early on. And if they're not here to defend...
That gate's going to go up in like a second, though.
He needs to... Okay.
He can bust the gate, though. He has enough lings.
Yeah, it hasn't gained enough HP in the warp in.
Those 6 lings, I'm not sure if those are enough. But
okay, so this is a funny little timing attack. Yeah, this is designed... Oh, my God, he did it. How funny.
Well, it seems like he wanted to let him in. Oh, what? Probes are actually doing quite a good job blocking here. You know what? I think that this was a very clutch call from Hurricane.
Yeah. No, you are totally correct in your analysis there, Artosis. He wanted to let that in because that way the lings get wedged over there, and then he can fill it with a battery. Oh my God, Hurricane is so good.
That was really
when you win
well
like
done.
this on the ladder, this is like the ultimate moment where you go, yeah, I'm just better than you.
Yeah.
Get out. What league are you in? But the rush isn't done yet. More lings are coming.
Yeah,
Can we have, how good of a Tetris player is Hurricane here? How much can he block off with this? Because lings are not going to stop coming here. Force field in. Oh,
Force field is
sick.
so clutch.
He's so good. He's so good.
This is a great hold. Now drones are being made, so that's when you know this is really getting hard. Oh, another one.
Look at the force field this time.
Traps him.
Damn.
Ouch.
Hurricane's so sick.
Well,
Oh, RagnaroK humiliated in that game. Wow.
a big deal for Hurricane, though, right? Round of 8
Yeah.
GSL Code S.
And you know what?
That is an outstanding achievement.
He played like a round of 8 player.
Yeah, he's playing so well right now. He played fantastically during Super Tournament, knocking out Rogue, looking very, very strong throughout. And here he is. He just knocked out RagnaroK, who is definitely an up-and-coming player at the moment. Wow. Good stuff. I'm sad to see RagnaroK go.
Yeah.
If he keeps playing as well as he is, though, he's going to be added to my team of Leanox.
That's right.
I'm going to call them the Leanox. They're led by Leanox.
Yeah.
RagnaroK might be the second recruit.
I call them Artosis' round of 16 angels. We're going to go to an interview now and see how Hurricane feels. He has survived to the round of 8. Andy, take it away.
Hello, we're gonna have an interview with Hurricane, the winner of tonight's last match.
선수 만나보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
Congratulations. Thank you.
커리어 갱신 축하드립니다. 소감 어떠세요?
Congratulations on getting your career high.
이 자리에 이렇게 올라오기까지 너무 오래 걸린 것 같고.
You know, it's been a long time coming here,
준비 열심히 한 게 또 결과가
and I'm just glad that my preparation bore
적의
fruit.
올인을 막고 두 주먹 불끈.
In the second game, you know, the spellbinding game, you defended the Zergling rush so well.
정말 축하드립니다.
Again, congratulations.
마지막에는 워낙 공격적으로 임하셨기 때문에 오늘 내내 마지막에는 방심하시지도
In the final round, you know,
정말 잘
I thought
막으셨던 것
you might
같아요.
be like
마지막
letting your
세트
guard
좀
down, but you're defending so well.
일단 마지막 세트에서
In the last set,
그렇게 할 거라고 솔직히
I
살짝 느낌이 오긴 했어요.
kind of anticipated that the enemy would actually pull their move.
네.
오늘 그 예전 저희 팀
The reason why
병이 경기장 왔는데 그
is because back in the past,
이범이 경기한 거를 분석해가지고
I've actually analyzed one of his games, and then I found out that I should be cautious of this.
막는데 컸던 것 같아요.
And I think that's why I was able to anticipate it.
저는 오늘 테란전도 보고 이렇게
I've
저그전도 봤지만
watched the Terran matchup, I watched the Zerg matchup, and you know, I'm just amazed at how proactive you are and how offensive you are in game.
제가 원래 정석적인 플레이
I'm like, you know, I try to go with the conventional Terran build.
공격적으로 많이 해왔거든요.
And these days I've been playing pretty offensively as well. And you know, I've just been playing offensive and defensive. You know, I've been mixing
내가
it.
주도권을 잡으면서 플레이하는 걸 좋아하세요?
생각해 보면은
You know, thinking about it, you know, back in the past, I always try to grasp the momentum in the games, and I felt like that's how you actually win.
오늘 이렇게 테란전, 프로토스전, 저그전 다 보여주셨습니다.
seen all the races today,
쉽지 않으셨을 텐데 사실
and I'm sure you prepared a lot.
2년 만에 얻은 두 번째 16강 기회였거든요.
And this is your chance of qualifying into the round of 8 in 2 years.
지금 너무 안 돼요, 솔직히. 연습
I definitely need to practice more right now.
대회에서 하면은 되게 말리는 부분이 많더라고요.
And I try to, I tend to play worse on stage, and there's little time, so I need to play well against Terran matchup.
생각하면서 빌드만 생각하고 연습은 거의 안 했고요.
네.
그렇게 준비했던 것 같아요.
테란전을 제일 열심히 하셨다고 했는데
You said that you prepare for the Terran matchup the most.
어떻게 했는지 굉장히 궁금했거든요.
Who did you scrim with?
테란전은 일단 경재형이랑 좀 많이 했고.
Yeah, I scrimmed against Gumyo
도 연습 한번 도와줘가지고.
and Bunny, and they've helped me a lot.
정말 그 사이버 포레스트에서도 그
In
공격적인
Cyber
매력이
Forest,
정말
you know,
잘
your
들어갔었던
offensive
것 같아요.
play really just
그런데
was so mesmerizing.
정션은 너무 신낸 거 아니에요?
솔직히 좀 많이
Honestly,
유리한 걸 저도 게임하면서 알아가지고.
I felt like I did have the upper hand in the games, and I tried to make the game as entertaining as possible.
잘 안 통해가지고 그렇게 결과가 나왔던 것 같아요.
네, 그런 순간도 있었지만 위기를 잘 수습하고
You know,
오늘
you've
이렇게 멋진
definitely
8강 진출
put a great move today.
자, 8강은 더 많이 준비해야 할
Round of
거예요.
8.
지금
You're going to prepare a lot.
고병재, 원희삭, 백동준, 어윤수 와 연습을 도와준 고병재 선수들 이렇게 다 기다리고 있네요.
You know, the Group B guys,
고병재 선수
Gumyo, Sue, and everyone else.
최대한 피하고 싶고요.
Who do you want to play against?
만나더라도 좀 더 높은 곳에서 만났으면 좋겠어요.
그럼 누구?
I want to meet them as late as possible.
누구 있죠?
원희삭 선수 있고
There's
백동준,
Parting.
어윤수.
There's Gumyo, there's Deer, there's Sue.
셋 다
All of those guys are very
다
formidable
어려운 것
opponents.
같다 이야기를 하셨습니다. 와, 나의 GSL 8강 어떻게 하고 싶다.
My
드림이
GSL round of
있었는데요.
8.
마지막으로 8강 가고 들어보겠습니다.
How do you feel right now?
8강도 지금처럼 준비
The round of 8,
많이 열심히
I'll
준비해서
prepare really hard
대회에서 침착하게 해야 될 것 같고
and try to play as calm as possible on
저한테
stage.
경기하기 전에 되게 조언도 많이 해주고 그랬던 형도
And
있고 사람들이 몇 명 있어요.
thanks to all the
그 사람들을
kind
다
people who gave me
하기
advice
힘들지만
before my
괜찮아요.
matches.
뭐 일단 아빠도 있고
I would like
뭐
to give a shout out to my dad
여기 통역 해주셨던 그 종현이 형도
and my
되게 많이
translator that I had.
조언해주셨고, 네. 재경이 형도 대기실에서 힘내라고 옵저버
and the observer brother who helped me
네,
in the lobby.
알겠습니다. 다시 한번 진출 축하드립니다.
Once again, congratulations.
네, 지금까지 두 번째 8강 진출자 남기웅 선수 만나봤는데요.
Alright.
오늘 경기
Thank you,
최종
Andy.
정리 확인해 보겠습니다.
Thank you, Andy.
So, we have tonight advancing 2 of our 8 Protoss players. Will the trend continue? I don't think so, Jace.
I don't think so. I mean, Classic was the one who was. I mean, if history means anything, he's the guy who was actually supposed to advance, right? Hurricane, I'm actually very happy to see advance. I know that there's going to be a lot of salty viewers that wanted RagnaroK or Fantasy. I get it, I really do. But look, Hurricane has not played anywhere near as well historically as he is now, and he's completely prepared. He's prepared for crazy all-ins that might have just swept the game away from him. Yeah, anyways, you guys saw the games. You get it. Look, coming up on Saturday, that's at 1 p.m. KST. We're finally back to the normal GSL Codes schedules. We've kind of caught up for the year. Gumiho, Parting, Deer, and Sue. That's going to be a great group. It's really tough to call who's going to get out of there. Of course, Parting being back, the 2013 world champion?
Yes.
2013
2012.
world.
Sorry.
2012, yeah. There's for some reason my brain.
Is SOS.
Yeah. The fact that he is back and playing well, and he's got that crazy Parting style, it makes it an even tougher group to call as far as who's going to get out.
There's so many, like, whatever happens there, it's going to be fun.
By the way, guys, we will be back on twitch.tv/StarCraft for the KSL tomorrow night and Friday night. That's at 7 p.m. KST.
That's right.
So you can always join us there if you're feeling lonely.
We just hit the round of 8 there, so
yes.
I mean, it's a great time to watch some of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great year of StarCraft so far.
It is. It has been. It will continue to be. So many good things going on. Pylon Show tomorrow morning. Make sure you check that out.
That's right. Tazel's podcast is out. Get that anywhere you get your podcast. I keep forgetting to plug it in the cast. I keep saying I'm going to mention it somewhere, and then I forget. So check that out.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. Protoss move on.
Night. It was a good night.
Will it be an all Protoss GSL or Tosis?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. The fans are going to be very disappointed to hear you say that. Hang on to your tickets if you're here in the studio. We have a giveaway at the end of the show. And we've got, like, I think it's a photo book of the players.
That's a very
Season
rare
2.
thing. We've just switched over to
We're
Season
giving
2.
away these collectible items that you can't get unless you're down here in the studio.
It's probably the last one you'll ever see that doesn't have Maru in it, so that's going to make it ultra rare.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I guess that's it. I guess there's nothing else to say, guys. Thank you for joining us. We will see you tomorrow for KSL, and we'll see you for GSL Codes on Saturday at 1 p.m. We love you. Bye-bye.
Those days were endless and full of dreams. Hey, you were mine in the heat of summertime. We were deathless. Those days were endless and full of dreams.
This is my world.
Let's make it count.
I must practice stories. Next, GSL Season 2. Renaissance.